All right. What is up, YouTube? What's going on, fellow fantasy people? And of course, what is up, the Catch fam? Let's try this again, guys. Was trying to do Madden for you guys tonight, and unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to work. But nonetheless, man, happy to be here as always, man. Looking forward to tonight's fantasy Q&A stream. And yeah, we'll just kind of wait for you guys to hop in here. And yeah, I'm not sure why the other streaming software is not working. And it was working for quite some time, and it's just kind of stopped. So uh, oh well. We'll just kind of keep troubleshooting and we'll keep working at it, guys. But appreciate all you guys coming out tonight in advance, and not gonna let it bother us, guys. Let's just get into some good old Friday night fantasy Q&A. It's gonna be a good one, guys. Can feel it already. Yeah, really wanted to get this Madden franchise continuing to roll, but uh, oh well. I know you guys didn't really care about that. I just kind of liked having it on the screen. It was always a good time. So we'll keep kind of troubleshooting that and see what we can't do. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So if you guys see any technical issues tonight, please let me know. And please try and keep me updated as we've been dealing with quite a few lately, it feels like. So I guess that's just part of it, right? So I'm just double checking one thing here on my phone, and yeah, we'll keep rolling, guys. All right. Sorry to anyone who was in the first stream we started and exited. JRX, what's up, everyone? I can't believe Russell is out. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, I guess it's not too crazy, but a little crazy. I mean, he didn't finish last night in my 20-man league. I thought about putting in a waiver for Geno Smith, but he's got some pretty tough matchups. And I think between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields in that league, I've got better options. But it crossed my mind because Geno had that one really good drive, right? And yeah, I decided not to do it. But nonetheless, man, it crossed my mind. So yeah, it's a good point, Jarex. By the way, man, did you get the invite to the Catch Fam mid-season fantasy league? Because I did email it to you, so let me know if you got it, man. Which is another topic we're going to get into tonight. But yeah, man, I mean, this has huge. I'm glad you brought this up. It has huge fantasy implications for the Seahawks, right? I mean, this could impact guys like DK Metcalf, like Tyler Lockett, any of the running backs on that crew, right? I mean, it's not good for the Seahawks, and it's also not good from a fantasy perspective as well. So well, it's going to be interesting to watch how this continues to roll out, but it's really not good, man. 6 weeks is a long time, right? JRX, this really blew my season. Carson and Lockett have zero value. No one wants them in trades. Yeah, I think initially that's going to be the big concern, right? But uh, while I don't feel great about this, I do believe that maybe there's still going to be some value to these guys. They're still, Metcalf and Lockett are still the, number one, and number two receivers on this team. They're both very talented, but overall, JRX, I see you just joined the league, man. So shout out to you, brother. But I think it hurts the running backs, and I do think it hurts the receivers overall. Don't get me wrong, but uh, they still have some value. So it's not a good situation, nonetheless. Though it's a bad situation for sure, for sure. All right, let's see here. Seth, what's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight. Hope you are doing fantastic. Trey Lance or Kirk Cousins? It's a good question. I like both of them this week. I'm rooting against Kirk Cousins. I've got him against me and mine and Steven's 12-man league, but it's a good matchup against Detroit nonetheless. Uh, although, I mean, Detroit's been a little bit more stingy than I think a lot of people kind of realize. For Trey Lance, it's a worse matchup versus the San Francisco 49ers, or excuse me, against the Arizona Cardinals, excuse me. Um, I like Trey Lance, don't get me wrong. I could see this game, having, a good amount of points scored, but I would personally roll with Kirk Cousins and let the Trey Lance situation roll out on its own. There might be a bit of a higher ceiling with Trey Lance, but personally, I don't know if I'm ready to take the gamble yet. It's his first or his second. No, it is his first full start. Excuse me. Um, and I don't know. I want a larger sample size before I pull the trigger. Although, I mean, the second half he played was very, very good. So it's a tough call, but for me personally, I would roll with Kirk Cousins. We know it's a better matchup versus Detroit, right? And it just feels like the safer play for me. That's what I would do for my roster personally. But think there's pretty high ceiling with Trey Lance. I just think that we might, you know, uh, I think Arizona's gonna be ready for this rookie. So we'll see what happens, man. It's gonna be a really fun game. The Cardinals and the Niners. But personally, I'm leaning towards Kirk Cousins out of the two guys. Jarek, should I start Goddard or pick up Hunter Henry? Uh, Quite honestly, I would just stick with Goddard. Uh, I know Zach Ertz is eating in uh, to those targets a little bit and everything. Uh, but I still like where our guy Goodart is at, right? Uh, I think he's going to be just fine, man. And I know that's probably not your biggest concern around it, but nonetheless, man, uh, looking between the two matchups, right? Going through my notes, as I see saying that the Panthers defense worries me, that's fair enough. They're pretty middle of the pack against opposing tight ends around number 16 in the league. Uh, but I can definitely understand the concern. Now, looking at Hunter Henry, while it's a much, much better matchup overall, he's seen a little bit of an increase in targets, 5 targets last week, 6 targets the week before, but he's touchdown dependent 100%. And he's only had 2 red zone targets all year long. So while I think it could work out just based on the matchup, I am a little bit worried as a whole, right? Um, that is more of me being worried about the Patriots and their consistency from a fantasy standpoint. So I don't think either are bad options. I just think that Hunter Henry is much more, touchdown dependent than Dallas Goddard is. So let me know what you think about that, JRX. Seth, is this a fair trade? DK and OBJ plus Aaron Roberts for Devontae. Keep in mind that the person I would be getting Devontae from doesn't know that Russ is out for the season. I mean, I think it's a good play by you. Yeah. Listen, man, in my humble opinion, I don't think that Allen Robinson holds a lot of fantasy value right now. Could it get worked out within that offense and down the stretch? He plays much better, sure. Uh, with OBJ, we haven't really seen anything consistent, and I don't know if we're going to. I love DK Metcalf. It definitely hurts him that Russ is out for 6 weeks, but I don't want to give up on these Seahawks wide receivers just yet. There's definitely some implications there, but I don't want to give up on them completely. But with all that being said, yes, I think it's a good trade because I do think that Devontae Adams has the possibility of finishing as wide receiver 1 on the year. And if not, he is a lock for a top 5 wide receiver on the year. Uh, Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Devontae Adams is healthy. This offense is very good. There's no question marks around it like there is with the Seahawks or the Bears. There's no question marks around the player like there is with Odell Beckham. So I would say yes, it's a good trade. But just keep in mind, I mean, you're obviously going to have to fill 2 roster spots right away. So I would look to see, uh, you know, who's available on the waiver wire, and if you think you can get, immediate value right away. But nonetheless, I like that trade, man, because you're getting Devontae Adams. And yeah, JRX. I mean, the Panthers defense, like I said, is a little bit worrisome, but I I think Hunter Henry and the Patriots offense a little bit worrisome overall. Spencer, what's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing fantastic. I'm hoping I get the 12th spot in the draft. Yeah, if for whatever reason, I want to point this out. It says that I have the third overall pick in the draft, and then it says anyone who's joined doesn't have a selection yet. So I don't know what that's all about, but I just want to let you guys know that I didn't go through and pick the third spot overall. But we'll get that all worked out. So yeah, we'll definitely talk more about the Catch fans midseason draft tonight as well. JRX, who are you looking? Who are you looking at for your first pick in the draft? Spencer says J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've kind of thought about this a little bit throughout the day. I really didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I got some ideas. Probably going to have to be a running back, right? I mean, well, this has been one of the thinnest years at the running back position, I think ever, right? All right, James out. Starters: Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Godwin, Henry, Henderson, Kelsey, Lockett. On the bench, you got Gibson, Julio, AB, Chenault, Michael Thomas, Judy. Do I trade Gibson and Lockett for Diggs and Edmonds? And PPR, yeah. I would think Lockett's value is going a little bit down. I like that you've got Henderson, although he's having some injury issues, paired with Derrick Henry. I think you've got Latavius Murray as a solid backup to those guys, and I think that Edmonds is a great flex play over Gibson. I mean, I still believe in Gibson on the season, but the upgrade at receiver and not that much of a drop of a running back, I think makes it a good trade, man. Juzal, what is going on, brother? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Hope you consider joining the Catch Fam tonight by subscribing down below. But let's get to the question. I appreciate you coming out tonight, man. Half point PPR, Deontay or Swift? Swift questionable again, and his O line is injured. Yeah, it's a good question, man. I mean, I Deontay Johnson has shown that he can play against pretty good corners, right? I mean, he burnt Jair Alexander last week for a score, but nonetheless, man, I really like DeAndre Swift, man. I'm afraid to recommend not starting him. Uh, he has played very, very well all year long. I personally, I wouldn't worry about the. Let's see, he's questionable with a groin injury. He's been playing through questionable tags all year long, man. It's a good point that some of the alignment are injured, right? Uh, but I like DeAndre Swift. I think his ceiling is very high. It's a pretty good matchup against Minnesota. But I mean, I really like Deontay Johnson as well. I mean, it's a tough call between the two guys, but I think that they're both good options this week. But Swift's got the better matchup, and I think that his ceiling is a little bit higher. So that's who I would consider starting at the moment. I also kind of lean towards running back, so I might be a little biased there. But personally, that's who I would start. So thanks for the question, man. Appreciate that. Seth, A. Rob and Odell are both on my bench this week, and I have Crowder and Javonte Williams too. Well, I like Crowder this week, but I mean, I like Javonte Williams in general, but I am scared to start him this week versus the Steelers. So, um, uh, man, it's a good problem to have all those guys on your bench, but you could look to start maybe moving some of those guys as well. Such as Stern, I got a few of them. I missed out on Knox and Schultz because I was waiting for Gronk to be rolled out instead of doubtful. Have Goddard on my bench, so I'll have to start him. Thoughts on Goddard versus other tight end twos? I like Goddard a lot, man. In terms of volume, it's definitely there. I mean, we were just talking about Goddard a minute ago. Um, it's not the worst matchup, although the Panthers defense is pretty good, right? Um, they're kind of middle of the pack against opposing tight ends. So I like where Goddard is at, actually. And I think he's an okay start while Gronk is out. I mean, it sucks he missed out on both Dawson Knox and Dalton Schultz. But nonetheless, I mean, depending on scoring format, I mean, Dalton or Dallas Goddard is easily a top 10 tight end on the season. This is the second hardest matchup he's had all season long. But I mean, he's got 5 red zone targets on the season. His worst performance in terms of receiving yards was week 2 with just 2 receptions for 24 receiving yards. But outside of that, he's had at least 40 receiving yards in every single game. And I could see, this being a game where he is, you know, kind of leaned on a little bit. So yeah, I think Goddard's an okay start, man. Spencer Stern, give me Deontay as long as Ben is QB. Yeah, yeah, I don't mind that, man. I don't mind that take whatsoever. Justin Hammonds, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well tonight. Galladay or Williams? Spencer says, which Williams? There's like 5 of them. Damian Williams, I see now. Man, uh, I really like Galladay this week as a very sneaky flex play versus the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a little bit worried about Damian Williams and thigh bruise, right? Uh, it's also it's not that it's a bad start. I'm a little worried about it, right? Galladay all day, as we used to say, like what 5 years ago. He's got a good matchup. He played well against the Saints, right? He's playing against Dallas, who's like number 29 in the league against opposing wide receivers. I mean, 116 receiving yards last week. I like this start, man, as long as Shepard and Slayton are out. And right now, they did not practice yesterday. So I think Galladay is a really good play, Justin. I like where he's at quite a bit. So I think it's a good start for you, man. Giselle, same thought process. I like Deontay, but I'm too scared to bench Swift. I mean, I think they're both good flex plays at the end of the day, but I would personally lean with Swift. So it's a hard call, man, but I think it's a good problem, right? It's not like you have a couple of bad guys that you're choosing between. It's a good problem to be choosing between Deontay Johnson and Swift. So I would personally roll with Swift. Let's see here. Spencer Stern, SCD play Williams PPR start Galladay. Aaron the Goat, what's up, man? Good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing fantastic, man. Tannehill, Carr, or Trey Lance? Man, I'm not feeling great about Tannehill right now. And he actually hasn't played that bad from a fantasy perspective. I think he's just not playing how a lot of us wanted him to, right? He's got a good matchup versus Jacksonville. Don't get me wrong. This is the worst defense he's faced all year. I could see him having, a game where he's kind of getting back to the form that we're used to, right? Uh, so I actually kind of like him as a sneaky start. Uh, Carr's got has got a tough matchup. And he sees Denver the week after, but it's a tough matchup for Carr. I mean, the Bears are number 10 against opposing quarterbacks right now. So it's a tough matchup. And with Trey Lance, man, I still want to see a larger sample size before we jump the gun here. If Steven was on or co-host Steven was on, he would be telling you to start Trey Lance all day, which is fine if you have the confidence in him. I think that the ceiling is going to be pretty high, but I just think there's some risk involved there. And I'd like to see, I mean, this is a pretty good defense in the Arizona Cardinals. So I would be personally worried to start Trey Lance. Unless I was in a deeper league, then I'd probably be pretty excited because I think the ceiling's there. I think it's pretty high. But personally, I think Tannehill might actually be the best play, just looking at how bad Jacksonville has been defensively. They just got picked apart by Joe Burrow last week. I think I like Tannehill as a sneaky play this week, guys. But let me know in the chat for Aaron the Goat. Tannehill, Carr, or Trey Lance, who would you guys start if it was your personal fantasy roster? Justin says no Slayton or Shepard. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Jew, I'm starting Denver D because Ben is QP. Fair enough. Ben feeds Deontay, but he's garbage. God, I can't type tonight. Jerex, I won't be able to stay active in the chat, but I'll be listening along. No worries, brother. Appreciate that, man. I hope Schultz has another good game. Yeah, I do too, bro. I'm starting him. So, Seth, having Swift and Deontay is the best possible problem. It is a good problem, honestly. Giselle, my wide receivers are Terry and Allen. My RBs are Eckler and Jones, not benching them for Swift. Not benching them for Deontay or Swift. Yeah, I mean, your team looks pretty good, man. So I think you got a couple good problems there for sure. Spencer Stern, AJ Brown coming back should help. Tannehill. Spencer says I'd start Carr probably, but he is close with Tannehill. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to bet against Derek Carr right now. They didn't have a very good game last week, and this is another pretty tough matchup. But I just feel like uh, this might be a sneaky start for Ryan Tannehill. He's got to have some good games this year, right, guys? Chase, Lance rest of the season. I just lost Russell. I think it's a good replacement if he's the best QB out there, man. I don't hate it. But just keep in mind that Garoppolo could come back this season. But uh, man, I mean, if Daniel Jones or Taylor Heineke's out there or Sam Darnold, let me know who's available on the waiver wire, Chase. But I don't mind Trey Lance either. I really don't. All right. Mayben, what's going on? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Any new faces out there? Hope you guys consider subscribing down below and becoming part of the Catch fam tonight. But nonetheless, just appreciate you guys coming out to the stream and throwing some fantasy Q&A our way. Who would you rather have, Justin Jefferson or Alvin Kamara? Ooh, this is tough. I mean, I personally generally lean towards the running back position. And I still think Kamara is going to have a great year, guys. I mean, he is quietly having a very good season. But you could argue that Justin Jefferson is quietly having a very good season as well, right? I like both of those players. It's a very tough decision. Let's pull up some stats. Why not? Yeah, I mean, Kamara's had at least 12 fantasy points in every game except for week 2, which he faced the third best team in the entire league against opposing running backs, the Carolina Panthers, right? He's had at least 80 rushing yards in every game and at least 4 targets, except against the Giants. He had 0 targets, interestingly enough. But no rushing touchdowns this year, just 2 receiving touchdowns. So, listen, after the bye week, he sees Seattle. He's got some very tough matchups and some very good matchups. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Tennessee, Philly, Buffalo, Dallas, the Jets, Tampa Bay, Miami, Carolina, and Atlanta. I mean, it's flopping all over the place. So he's going to be very valuable throughout that stretch, man. He's going to have some monster games. I have no doubt about it, man. Looking at Justin Jefferson, right? He's a top 10 receiver on the year right now, and he's had at least 10 points in every game. But really, outside of week 1, he's had at least 15 points in every game. He's got some tough matchups and some middle of the pack matchups, and his fantasy playoff schedule looks great. Pittsburgh, Chicago, the Rams, and then he might end at Green Bay, who are down a corner. So it's a tough call, but I personally typically lean running back. So I think I would personally pick Kamara, but it's no knock on Justin Jefferson whatsoever. I would like to have either of them on my fantasy squad right now. But thank you for the question, and hope you stick around and enjoy the stream a little bit tonight. Chase, good thing I picked up Trey last week. Yeah, good thing he did, man. I'd start Carr, kind of more proven based on last few games. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point for sure. All right, let's see. You're gonna move laptop. All right. Chase says Jefferson. Giselle at Chase. DJ and Darnold are available in my 10 team. Probably good picks if you need a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, I like both of those guys quite a bit. And yeah, I really like Taylor Heineke right now. If you guys have, a situation like this, if you're dealing with the Russell Wilson injury, I'm about to sneeze. Wow. That was a violent sneeze. I apologize, guys. If you're dealing with this Russell Wilson injury and you're in deeper leagues, Taylor Heineke's floating out there. He's a very, reliable quarterback that you can stream at the moment. So I like him as well. But I think the top guys to look for are Sam Darnold and Danny Dimes right now. Aaron the Goat, Corey Davis, or Chenault in full PPR. Tough question. Playing against well, not they're not playing against each other. I'm totally wrong. But Chenault has got a beautiful matchup the way the Tennessee Titans have been playing. So I like him quite a bit, but I'm also still stuck on this thesis of there being no defense whatsoever in these London games. So I really like Corey Davis this week. And I've got Corey Davis in both my primary leagues, and I'm starting him. But I would not be afraid to throw Chenault in there either. That's another tough one, Aaron the Goat. Uh, Very, very tough, man. Oh, let us know in the chat once again for Aaron the Go, Corey Davis or Chenault. It's a tough decision. I think they both have very, very favorable matchups. Chase Heineke is there. I guess Lance is in. Bye week after this week, so I'll play Heineke versus Kansas City. I think that's a great, great call, man. Heineke versus Kansas City is going to be a beautiful matchup. Juzao, I think Kamara over Jefferson. Running backs dropping like flies, and Jefferson has people like Thielen that can steal targets. Kamara is the top dog in New Orleans. Yeah, I like that take. Chase is probably true. James Zhao, Godwin or Ridley rest of the season. Spencer says Ridley. Ooh, I think I'd roll Godwin. Well, there's like no targets whatsoever other than Kyle Pitts in that offense. I just don't like the Falcons offense outside of Cordero Patterson and Cheese, whatever we've been calling him. And I mean, I still like Ridley and I believe in him. And actually, in full PPR, while Mike Davis isn't playing great, he's not playing that bad. He's had like 9 to 10 fantasy points in every game, which is not great. But if you're absolutely panicking at the running back position, then it's okay if the rest of your team looks okay. But I think I have more faith in Godwin, but I think Ridley could be very good down the stretch as well. Tough decision there. James Dow, would you do Gibby and Lockett for Jefferson and Edmonds? PPR, same trade, but instead of Diggs, Jefferson? Yes, I would. I would. Absolutely. 100%. Giselle, bless you. Bless you, brother. Thank you for being here, brother. Jarek says, Steven joining tonight. I do not believe so. You guys will probably not see Steven on the Friday night streams. And well, sometimes on the Friday night streams, but generally not. And then on the Saturday night stream, same story. So unfortunately, we would not be seeing Steven tonight. You might see him in the chat. He might come through in the chat. I'll text him and see if he can hop on the chat for a bit. Maven, do I trade DJ Moore and Daryl Henderson for Alvin Kamara and Deontay Johnson? That's tough, man. I would say yes. I like DJ Moore a lot more than Deontay Johnson. And I still like Daryl Henderson quite a bit. But I'm looking at the injury concern around Daryl Henderson here, being that we've already seen him miss a game and sit out certain parts of last night's game. Uh, and I think Kamara is much more reliable. I really like Henderson the way he's playing. I do have worries about the injuries around him. I like DJ Moore much more than Deontay Johnson, but I still really like Deontay Johnson. So it's a tough call. But like we just went over, Kamara's got some very, very good matchups down the stretch, and he's going to make the most of them. So it's a very tough call, but I would consider it. Let us know in the chat what you guys think of that trade for Maben. Chase Wellner, when Fitz is healthy in November, do they start him? No, I don't think so. I think that Heineke has proven himself at this point, and I think that I mean, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. We talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick on this channel a lot in the offseason, preseason. But personally, I don't think that they're going to. And I don't think that they need to. I don't think that they have to. And I mean, I love this story of Taylor Heineke, man. And I certainly hope that it continues to progress. So, yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. But it's a good question. It's a good debate as well. Choose out for Terry's sake. I hope not. Yeah. I mean, I believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick's ability to throw the football, but I like what we've seen out of Taylor Heineke, and he's shown good chemistry with our guy Scary Terry. So I agree with that, man. I think from a fantasy perspective, Heineke is the better player and probably the more consistent player as well. But I still like my guy Fitzpatrick, but yeah, I'm gonna say that Heineke probably has won the starting job. All right. Justin Hammond says like and subscribe. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that support. Hope all the new faces out there do consider subscribing tonight, becoming part of the Catch Fam, and shout out to all of the Catch Fam members. Dominic Jacobs versus Bills or Moss versus Kansas City. And he meant to say Jacobs versus Chicago. Personally, I think Moss versus Kansas City is the better matchup. Still believe in Josh Jacobs, but it's a pretty tough matchup versus the Detroit Lions. So, uh, personally, I think I would roll with Zach Moss. But if the Raiders get in the red zone, there's going to be several opportunities for Josh Jacobs to score a touchdown. Uh, so I think that he might be a little bit touchdown dependent in this game, but I mean, we saw him do it against the Chargers, right? And I don't hate it because I still believe in Josh Jacobs, but I think it's a much better matchup for Zach Moss overall, who I think could see some receiving work in that game as well. So personally, I think I would lean towards Zach Moss. Spencer, when do you think the draft will end up being? I don't know. Hopefully, I'm thinking middle of next week. We need to get the roster filled out. Um, so we'll be kind of talking about that tonight. And I mean, not the roster filled out, but the league filled out. We are doing a mid-season catch fam fantasy league. Uh, Trying to draft middle of next week, I think, is what we're aiming towards. I gotta kind of finalize the details with Steven. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking middle of next week, and we can, head in to week 6. So we'll kind of over the weekend get the details smoothed out, and we do need to get a couple spots filled as well. So I'll probably be dropping. I'm thinking about just dropping an individual video on that, and just that way, all of our make sure all of our subscribers see it and have an opportunity to join if they want to. But I'm thinking we're gonna have just 12 people in the league total, including Steven and I, so a 12-man league. But if push comes to shove, we'll bump it up to 14. But we'll see what happens. So I'll definitely keep you updated, Spencer. Don't worry about that. Giselle Fitz not targeting Terry at all in the half he played had me worried. Hey, F. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to worry about that though. But I can definitely see where you were worried at the beginning of the season. But unfortunate for Ryan Fitzpatrick, but fortunate for Scary Terry owners that you know our guy Heineke has come through. Giselle, thoughts on Gronk's return? He hasn't been IR'd yet, but I wouldn't feel comfortable starting him next week, even if he plays. Uh, Gronk's gonna probably have injury designations off and on for the rest of the season, is the way I feel. And I won't be surprised if we see him banged up at times, coming in and out of games, maybe missing 1 or 2 games at some point again in the season. But if he's got the healthy designation and it's a good matchup, it's not a tough matchup against opposing tight ends, and I think you got to start him the way that we saw him roll out beginning of the season. But I think he'll be okay. But I think that at this point in his career, he's got to be, smart overall with what he does. But don't be surprised if he gets some questionable, marks next to his name, some doubtful marks next to his name, and all that stuff as well. Chase Wellner Fitz can be kept on the bench with very little controversy, as we've seen. Yeah, no kidding. Evan Harrison, what's going on, brother? Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Uh, what's up, man? With Kittle more than likely out, I need a tight end. Cook, Henry, Johnu, Conklin, or another you can think of. As I see Chase replying saying Cook or Conklin. Yeah, I like both of those guys quite a bit. I think I would like Henry or Johnny Smith this week, but I mean, it's a great matchup, right? And I just don't know if I trust that offense overall. So I think that Conklin's got a pretty good matchup versus the Lions. I have got Jared Cook in my 20-man league, and I like where he's at. I think you could honestly go with any of those 4 guys. I know that's the worst possible answer I could give you. Uh, I think you just want to look at which respective offense you believe in the most and which lineup you think is the worst, because there's some pretty bad matchups sprinkled in there with the Lions and the Texans, right? Um, so it's a tough call, honestly, between those guys. I see a pretty similar floor and ceiling for all of those guys. I mean, Cook just is coming off a massive game, and it's actually a pretty tough matchup versus Cleveland for him. But uh, I still will like, his target share where he's been at this season. So it's tough, man. All right, let's see here. Ryan, what's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight. I traded Dalvin Cook and DJ Moore for Derrick Henry and CD Lamb. Who won? You won. Whoever got Henry won, in my humble opinion. I like both sets. I like DJ Moore more than CD Lamb, no pun intended, but uh, I like CD Lamb a whole lot. I think he's a very reliable, great fantasy receiver. And the way, I mean, I love Dalvin Cook, don't get me wrong, but the injury concerns are going to continue to loom, and there's going to be none whatsoever with Derrick Henry. So I would say that whoever got Derrick Henry and CD Lamb won that trade. JRX, were you at all surprised at how well at wow, I can't talk. Were you at all surprised at how well Gronk was playing early on? No. This is something I talked about towards the end of the offseason preseason quite a bit. Uh did our, tight end ranking videos with Steven, did our, season preview podcast. Talked about Gronk quite a bit. This was a guy that I really wanted to target in both my fantasy leagues. Who ended up getting selected pretty early, much earlier than I thought he would. And I waited too long on him. And I was not surprised to see how he came out whatsoever, to be completely honest with you. Chase, I feel like Conklin is safer floor versus Lions. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. James Zhao, Diggs or Jefferson rest of the season. That's a tough call. I like both these guys a lot. I think Diggs might start to turn it up, man. But the nice thing with Jefferson, well, there's running backs, Conklin and Thielen. Do you steal targets from Jefferson? They are still stealing less targets than the amount of receivers and running backs and tight ends on the Buffalo Bills. So fantasy wise, I would say I'm probably leaning towards Justin Jefferson, honestly. I was no one in my league drafted him, and I got him off waivers after week 2. Nice move, man. Chase Wellner, Browns are good against tight ends. They drafted what's his name? JOK. Yeah, the Browns are pretty damn good against tight ends right now. It's a tough matchup for Cook. Evan Harrison, pick up Henry. Oh no, Hunter Henry. I think I'll have a good game, but I don't believe it enough to start him. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's a very good matchup for these New England Patriots tight ends. So you can flip a coin with who you think is going to have a better game, Henry or Smith. But it's an incredible matchup, and it's probably worth streaming against. I just don't know which one to start either, Jerry. Ryan, you think when Rashad Bateman returns from injury, he will take the wide receiver 1 spot on the Ravens? Not necessarily, but I think he'll definitely be involved quite a bit. I think that the way Hollywood Brown has been playing, it'll probably benefit Hollywood Brown quite a bit. But overall, I want him to be the number 1 receiver. We talked about Rashad Bateman a lot in the offseason, preseason. I ended up drafting him in my Stevens 12-man league and just put him on IR right away. And eventually, I had to not do that. I had to get rid of him, unfortunately. But um, I like Rashad Bateman. I hope he becomes the wide receiver 1, but I think he'll probably be slowly implemented into the offense. But we'll see, man. He could break out right away. It's a good question. Nick Brandon, hey man, someone has offered me Josh Jacobs for Cordero, Patterson, and Cheese. Am I crazy thinking twice about accepting that? Uh, I don't think so. I mean, I like both of these guys. I do. I'm not ready to give up on our guy Cordero Patterson and Cheese. Or I guess it's Cordero Pounder and Cheese. Quarter pounder and cheese. Okay. Anyways, I would. I mean, you can sell him high right now the way he's performing, but I would continue to start this guy uh, until the production stops. And I don't know if we're going to see this production stop. We might see it, kind of settle down and a little bit and everything, but I don't know. But don't get me wrong, man. I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I still believe in Josh Jacobs, guys. Another guy is really high on the offseason preseason. So yeah, I mean, I think either way, it's a good trade. I'm not. I think it's a fair trade overall. Chase Wellner Patterson is a sell high player. That's not bad, honestly. Yeah, I don't disagree, man. Jerry, I should have been watching your videos early on. It sounds like you had some good calls. You know, I did, but I also had some bad calls. So if you're ever really bored and you got nothing better to do, we're not actively live streaming, you've watched our latest videos, yeah, go back and watch some of those. There's some good calls in there. There's some bad calls too. Don't get me wrong, including Tua. But that's well, I was gonna say it's topic for another night, but it could be a topic tonight if you guys want it to be. Why not? Um, Juice out. Got one bench spot to hold someone that may pop off this weekend. Lance or Flash Gordon. I would say take a gamble with Lance, honestly. But I like Melvin Gordon as well. The way the Chiefs play, he might get one touchdown catch. James Dow, they throw that ball around. Absolutely. Chase Wellner, I want to know who else the guy with Jacobs has. Yeah. Uh, I actually have Patterson. I don't know what to do with him. Jerry, the way the Falcons have been playing, I think Patterson is their number one guy going on. Uh, JRX/Jerry, problem is in my 10-team league, wide receivers are not that valuable. Got Deontay on the bench, so I might never start Flash Gordon. Yeah. Uh, and going back to last point from Jerry, I'm not completely giving up on Patterson, right? I know a lot of people do want to sell him high, and if that's where you stand, I'm not going to argue it. But until we see this production halt, I think he's worth holding on to. And I'm talking about like a complete halt. And just think about it. Outside of Ridley and Pitts, what does his offense really have? And don't get me wrong. I mean, Davis has actually been getting a fair amount of work within the offense as well. But really, what does this offense have to work with outside of those guys? I mean, Russell Gage is hurt. Russell Gage, someone I talked about in the offseason, preseason a lot, who has done nothing this season. Uh, I just don't know, man. I mean, Pitts hasn't played spectacular, although he's had the target share. So yeah, it's hard to say, but I really feel like I personally wouldn't give up Patterson at the moment. I wouldn't if he was on my roster. But that's just me talking. I could see Pitts getting better and Russell Gage comes back sometime, I think. Yeah, sometime. I do think Pitts will get better. I don't disagree. His target share has been there. He's just got to do something with them. And yeah, I don't know if Russell Gage is ever going to come back. We'll see. Jerry, I went back and watched some of the first streams and they were hard to watch. He really grown a lot these past 3 months. Yeah. Yeah. If it's like the early podcast videos, yeah. I mean, hey, you got to get if you guys are ever interested in making your own content on YouTube, coming from a small content creator, humbly speaking, the best thing you can do is just start. For a lot of people, that's hard because you're putting yourself out there. And yeah, some of those early videos that we'll always leave up on the channel, uh, that's what we were doing. We were just starting, and that's really all you can do is start and just grow from what you began with, right? And that's what we're doing each and every single week, and each and every single day, right? I mean, that's all you can do. So, I see you saying no hate. Yeah, no, I know there's no hate, brother, but uh, yeah, I could completely understand, and it's uh, it's a long road, man, and I would say we're still at the beginning of it. So I appreciate uh, you going back and uh, you know watching some of the old videos, and I appreciate you being an active member of the Catch Fam and shouting out the positive growth as well, man. Appreciate that. Giselle, I got to go. Leave you a like and a sub. Keep up the grind. Appreciate that, brother. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for stopping by the chat and the stream for a little bit as well. Appreciate that, man. So yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and see. Let's send a text very quick. Sending one to Steven. Okay, let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go through my 20-man roster, see what you guys think. If you guys have any of your own fantasy Q&A, of course, shout it out. Peace out, Giselle. Thanks again for coming by, man. All right, let's see here. I've got Trevor Lawrence versus Tennessee. I actually really like this matchup. I truly do. And I think he's going to have a good game, man. Tennessee's actually been okay against opposing quarterbacks, believe it or not. But I like this matchup for Trevor Lawrence, and I need him to have a big game. Right now, I've got Tim Patrick at Pittsburgh in. Uh, don't like the matchup. Actually, I do like the matchup. The matchup's good. I don't like this situation with Drew Lock, but I feel like maybe we're being too harsh on Drew Lock. He's shown chemistry with guys like Tim Patrick before, so I don't know, man. I think I have to start him though, the way my roster is looking in my 20-man league, and I got Corey Davis at Atlanta, which I like a lot. Jerry, I remember looking at Patterson when he was on the waivers, and I didn't pull the trigger. My thought at the time was, I don't need another wide receiver right now. I thought the same, and I also thought this can't be real. This is just a 1 game fluke, then a 2 game fluke. And then I was like, at that point, I think he was taken. But that was my other thing. I was like, there's no way that this is going to be a long term success, plan, right? And yeah, you win some, you lose some. What can you say? Chase Wellner says Teddy is playing. That's what it's trending towards. I'm a Broncos fan. Okay, thank you for your update, Chase. We appreciate that. Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Bridgewater concussion expected to play versus Pittsburgh. Teddy Bridgewater is expected to clear the league's concussion protocol and play in Week 5 against the Steelers. Yeah, that's good news. Okay, thanks for the update, Chase. That makes me feel a lot better about Tim Patrick. Yeah, that's good news for sure. It's good news for Noah Fant owners, Tim Patrick owners. Uh, I don't want to say the running backs on this team owners because it's still a tough matchup for the running backs, Devonta Williams and Melvin Gordon. But yeah, that's a great update. Thank you, Chase. Dream Chasers, what's going on, man? Hope you are doing fantastic tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Hope you consider subscribing down below, becoming part of the Catch fam. But nonetheless, we appreciate you coming out tonight. What's up, brother? Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard, Damien Williams. I need 1 RB and I need a flex play. My only other flex option is Sanders. I played Alex Collins last night, so I have 1 RB slot and flex, full PPR. Okay. Good question here. I would say Kareem Hunt. I would take a chance on this week. And due to volume and the matchup, I would start Chuba as well. I'm not crazy about Miles Sanders right now. But I like those 2 guys. I started Alex Collins last night as well. Touchdown dependent matchup didn't work out for us, but not the worst stat line, especially in full PPR. But personally, I think I'm leaning Hunt, and I don't think C Max playing, or I don't think Christian McCaffrey's playing. So I think due to volume and the fact that the Eagles are the 27th worst team against opposing running backs, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they're both. I think that those are probably my 2 favorite matchups out of those guys. Emmanuel Sanders, sorry, not Miles Sanders. I like Emmanuel Sanders this week quite a bit versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So I would say personally, I think you got a good problem here. Let us know in the chat, guys. Let us know for Dream Chasers. Hunt, Chuba, Damian Williams, or Miles Sanders. I think I would personally roll Damian Williams out. I don't like the injury, and I'm not crazy about the matchup. The Lions aren't that bad against opposing running backs. Uh, believe it or not. I mean, they are, but they're not at the same time. They're pretty middle of the pack. But I just don't feel great about the start. I think that it's a pretty low ceiling overall. Um, let's see here. Oh, and I'm sorry, the Bears aren't playing the Lions. That was last week. They're playing Las Vegas. I'm sorry, who aren't great against opposing are who are not great. I'm sorry, against opposing running backs. Can't talk tonight, guys. It's Friday. It's getting to that point in the week, right? Let us know in the chat, guys. I think personally, I would roll Williams out, and I kind of like Hubbard versus the Eagles, guys. What do you guys think? Let us know. Kareem Hunt, Chuba, Damon Williams, Emmanuel Sanders, one RB, one flex. Sanders looks like a pretty juicy matchup versus Kansas City, high ceiling, but you're just always taking the risk that there's so many options on that team. So, uh, yeah, yeah, tough decision there. Thank you for the question, though. We'll continue to work on that throughout the night. Chase Wellner, I can't fit Patterson in my lineup because I have Henderson, Kamara, then Terry, Debo, and Adams. I've thought about shopping him, but he's not a bad guy to have on the bench just in case. Yeah, I think you should hold on to him. And I think the nice thing there is, let's say, you know, well, I guess the nice thing is you could shop him and get immediate value that you know is going to be good on the season, but you're not really taking a risk by having him on your roster if you do just keep him. So I think it's a good idea just to hold on to him, but definitely a good problem looking at the rest of your lineup, Chase. Jerry, I think you start Hunt and put Damian on the flex. Yeah, I don't mind that either. It's a good matchup for Damian Harris. Let's not forget about that. That makes that decision even tougher. Jerry Hunt has those red zone carries. Jerry, you got to do some trading. Yeah, I mean, we could trade it. It wouldn't hurt. Uh, Dream Chaser says Williams playing Raiders. Yeah, my bad. I don't know why I said Lions. Didn't mean to say that. Uh, Going back to your question, Dream Chasers, it's a very tough decision. This is a very, very good problem to have. Great matchup. When I went through and I just wow, you guys can tell it's late in the week, guys. As I just said, Williams was had a good matchup versus Houston. As I was thinking of, yeah, as I was thinking of the Patriots running backs. Wow, sorry, Dream Chasers. Listen, this is a tough decision. I think Sanders has a very high ceiling, very very good matchup. I don't feel good about Damien Williams, and I lean more RB heavy. So personally, I think I would be starting Kareem Hunt and Chuba just because Chuba's going to have the large volume. The Eagles have not been good against running backs this season, and I don't mind if you throw Sanders in there because I think the ceiling is very good. Hope that helped, Dream Chaser. Sorry, it was kind of all over the place there, but definitely a good problem to have, nonetheless. Appreciate that question, man. It's got an ice cube stuck in my mouth. You guys see that? All right, Dirty Money. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Pick two: McLaurin, Thielen, Debo, Corey Davis. And I see Jerry saying Debo and McLaurin, and I 100% agree. I think that they're just the two best players out of those four guys. I mean, I like Thielen, I like Corey Davis. I think McLaurin and Debo are the two, the two more elite receivers out of the four. Matt, what's good, man? Good to see you tonight, brother. Hope you're doing fantastic. Ryan, my wide receivers now are CD Lamb, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Hollywood Brown, Chenault, Jalen Waddle, and I have Michael Thomas on the IR. Don't know if I should drop Jalen Waddle for Bateman. I don't think I would until we see some actual work out of Rashad Bateman. And then I think you can fight for him on the waivers if you want to. Waddle's got a very good matchup this week. I would personally hold on to Waddle at the moment. I mean, I would consider Michael Thomas being dropped over Rashad Bateman. I know a lot of you guys drafted Michael Thomas and you want to hold on to him for the potential, and I understand that. I'm not crazy about Michael Thomas, to be completely honest. I might be wrong on this one, guys, but personally, I would wait to try and battle for Bateman if he does pop off. But I think it would be tough to have Hollywood Brown and Bateman on your team and kind of decide who to start between the two on a weekly basis. And I would kind of lean towards having Hollywood Brown the way he's been playing this season, right? Matt, I got a tough one for you. Chuba or Damon Williams for flex this week? Yeah, we were just kind of talking about that with the Dream Catchers question there. I don't feel crazy about Damian Williams this week. I might be wrong on this one, guys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's going to be the RB1 for like at least 5 more weeks, right? I got Las Vegas, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Pittsburgh. Not the best stretch, right? But nonetheless, I mean, he is an RB1. I just don't feel great. I think that the Raiders defense, while they haven't been good, they haven't been bad either. It's a weird situation with those guys. But I just don't feel. I got a bad gut feeling about this Damien Williams start. The Eagles are like the 27th worst team in the league against opposing running backs. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for Chuba. I think that the volume will certainly be there. So personally, Matt, I would lean towards Chuba Hubbard. But if you feel good about Williams, think you could end up flipping a coin. So for the sake of dream catchers, for the sake of Matt, let us know in the chat Chuba Hubbard or Damian Williams this week. Who do you guys have between the two? It's it's a tough call, but I don't feel absolutely crazy about Williams. Still dealing. Well, let's see if there's any update here on the thigh injury, thigh bruise. Let's see here. Let's see. Not seeing any updates. Let's check a second source and see what we can't find out. Excuse me. All right, let's see. Practice in full Wednesday. Did not hinder his ability to handle every drill to begin week 5 prep, so that's probably good. Yeah, I do worry about Khalil Herbert on this team as well, potentially taking some snaps away from Williams, but uh, it's definitely a tough call there. Definitely a tough call right there. Matt, cool. Thanks. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It is. Yeah, it's a tough call for sure, but we'll continue to work on it throughout the night. And then next, hey, Catch, how's your night going? I got a question. Should I start Miles Sanders or Tyler Boyd? It's a good matchup for Sanders versus Tampa Bay. Although, I mean, the front seven's been pretty good against opposing running backs. I could, or excuse me, I am all messed up tonight. They Tampa Bay's next week. They're playing Carolina. It's a bad matchup for Miles Sanders, who's had a bad couple of weeks. I like Tyler Boyd this week. I mean, Jair Alexander's hurt, right? Um, I mean, T. Higgins might be coming back, which could hurt some of this target share. But I think I would roll with Tyler Boyd personally. I don't like where Miles Sanders is at. I told you guys to give him one more shot last week, and nothing happened. So, yeah, I think that Tyler Boyd is who I would personally roll with if he was on my squad. Good to see you though, Hidden X. Been a minute, man. Hope you're doing fantastic, bro. James, would you do the same trade, but Gibby and Lockett for Jefferson and Sanders? I really just want Lockett off my team. I'm assuming that's Miles Sanders. Yeah, I do think it's a good enough upgrade at the receiver position. I mean, I don't like the swap at running back nearly as much, but if you're that worried about Tyler Lockett, then yeah, I think it's an immediate upgrade and a consistent upgrade that you can rely on. So I don't hate the trade as long as you're confident at the running back position. Then yeah, I don't hate it because I don't think that Sanders is going to be too great of an option moving forward. But if you're confident with your running backs, then yeah, James, I don't think it's a bad trade. Timothy Park, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Pick 2, Allen Robinson, Galladay, Marquise Brown, and Odell Beckham in full PPR. I would roll with Kenny Galladay. I really like this matchup versus the Dallas Cowboys this week. And then I would stick with Hollywood Brown. Indianapolis's secondary has not looked very good this year. Allen Robinson and Odell Beckham just not nearly as consistent. I'm not a big fan of this Bears offense, and especially how they've been using Allen Robinson. And then, I mean, I think Odell Beckham could still be good on the year, but we just don't have the right sample size. So for me, I would roll with Galladay and Brown. Good question, though, Timothy. Thank you for that, man. Matt, do you think Cole Beasley has a bounce back game versus the Chiefs? I think it's likely, but the problem here is that there's just so many targets on the Buffalo Bills offense. I mean, it's a great matchup for all of them, but we're taking some sort of risk starting any of these guys. So I think this game will be very competitive. Don't get me wrong, and I do think in these competitive games, Cole Beasley will probably shine. So yeah, I don't hate this by any means, but just keep in mind the ceiling might be limited due to the amount of targets in this offense overall, right? Chase Bowler, Damien is higher on 2 lists. I checked only 2 to 3 spots though. Chase, yes, Matt, Chief slot corner is bad. Let's see. Matt says, cool. He shocked me with only 2 targets against Houston. Yeah. Head and X, thanks. How's this week matchup going for you? It's a little rough. I mean, had Cooper Cup against me. Mine Stevens 12-man league started Alex Collins and Matt Gay. So I mean, not the worst starts, but not the best. Cup definitely could have had a better game, so I'm not too upset there. He still had a good stat line. And then in my 20-man league, I had no one starting last night, but I had Matt Stafford and Tyler Higbee against me, who definitely could have had better games. Um, so it's still winnable. So it's not going bad. So we'll see what happens, man. Ryan, my running backs are now Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and Antonio Gibson. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't mind that at all. Jerry, I don't know too much about the Colts defense. Should we be worried about Lamar? I don't think so. It's a pretty good matchup for Lamar. I mean, they've been pretty good against opposing running backs. They have not been good in the secondary. I wish Steven was here. He could definitely give us a rundown on the Colts to a T. But nonetheless, man, I don't think we need to be worried about Lamar. I thought about starting Sam Darnold over him since I didn't do it last week and it bit me in the ass. But I think that Lamar is going to have a good game and he needs one. He might be limited in some of those running plays, but this Colts defense is built to stop running backs, not Lamar Jackson. And I think he's going to do some Lamar Jackson things this week, and I got a good feeling he needs to have a good week after two not so good weeks against the Broncos and the Lions. So I'm not worried personally. I'm sticking to Lamar. I mean, I drafted him for a reason, right? And I think he's going to be okay. Chase, I think it's going to rain in Kansas City this Sunday. That could definitely affect things. So we'll definitely have to monitor that. Ryan, start one wide receiver and one flex. Hollywood Brown, Chenault, Waddle, Higgins, or Antonio Gibson. Personally, I would take a shot on Hollywood Brown. Once again, it's a bad secondary for the Colts. And I really like Chenault Jr.'s matchup versus Tennessee. I think he's going to see a lot of volume. So I like him as well. But I kind of like Waddle too. Not, once again, just based on the matchup versus Tampa Bay. I mean, I guess Sherman will be lined up on him. That's what I would assume. I don't mind Higgins' matchup either versus Green Bay. And then I think Antonio Gibson. Let's pull up some stats. Let's pull up some stats on our guy Gibby. Why not? I mean, I don't hate where Gibson is at on the season. Let's see here if I can get my phone to cooperate. All right, he's questionable. Yeah, I mean that's right. He's playing the Saints. It's a bad matchup, and he's questionable. Personally, I would rule him out. Although he had, a huge play against Buffalo, who's a better defense, at least 16 points, versus Buffalo. So I still think I would be hesitant to start him against uh, the Saints. But it's a good question, a tough question. I would roll with those receivers, though, man. You got some very, very good, very favorable matchups for all of those receivers. So that's where I would lean if it was my roster personally. Jerry, I'm putting all my chips on Cobb this week. I've thought about the same. I've got him in my 20-man league, and I really want to start him. And I've thought about picking him up in mine and Steven's 12-man league as well. So I thought about doing the same, man. But it's a tough call. And I like him on the rest of the season. I really hope that he kind of turns into the wide receiver two truly on this Green Bay Packers offense. So I like that. I like that a lot, man. I hope it works out for you. And I'm kind of behind the scenes starting to do the same. So we'll see what happens, man. Jerry, if Lamar gets me 20 points, I'll be happy. Same here, brother. I don't like these 18-point stat lines. I want somewhere between 20 and 25. Ryan, in my second league, start Burrow, Lance, or Danny Dimes. I would probably roll with Danny Dimes, man. Uh, he's about as consistent as any quarterback's been all season long. So I got no problem with starting Daniel Jones. I truly don't. Which, gosh, just once again, it blows my mind that we're at this point in the season where we're talking about starting Daniel Jones. I mean, over Burrow or Lance, I guess not too crazy, right? But Joe Burrow, a little bit of a tougher matchup against Green Bay. Uh, last week was his first game over 20 points, right? Uh, Danny Dimes, depending on scoring format, is like QB6 right now. He's averaging like 23 points a game. So uh, I would personally roll with Daniel Jones, as we just don't have the major sample size out of Trey Lance. And he's got the toughest matchup out of those three quarterbacks. My co Steven was on. He'd probably tell you to roll the dice and start Trey Lance. But personally, I'd stick with Danny Dimes, man. I mean, I've been scared to start him. I've had him on my roster. I've dropped him, and I've been scared. And he's proven me wrong, man, especially against the Saints. So he might end up proving us right if you're hesitant about him. Don't get me wrong, but I think Daniel Jones a pretty good start, man. Jerry, how's the weather like for you, John? Excuse me. It's been freezing in California recently. We're at 63. Oh, geez. Uh, it's been off and on rainy, not too cold here in Virginia, but it's been off and on, man. And I think it's kind of crappy weather all over the place. It feels like anyone I talk to, right? But yeah, not too cold, but definitely rainy. I think we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain throughout the night and then into tomorrow as well. So we'll see what happens, man. But I don't really mind the rain, to be honest. So yeah, but not too cold is the nice thing. Jerry, the Packers have really nice matchups coming up, so it'll be nice to have a piece of the pie. Yeah, I think that Cobb, I've got the same feeling, man. I like that you brought this up. I think that Randall Cobb, I think he could do this thing, man. I mean, A Rod brought him in for a reason, right? And I think that it's definitely very feasible for this whole thing to go down. So we'll see what happens, man. But I mean, I kind of hope that it does, because I've got him in my 20-man league, and I certainly need him to be good. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens. Ryan, would you drop Odell Beckham or Devonta Smith for Curtis Samuel? I would hold on to Devonta Smith. Still like where he's at on the season. Um, I would not drop him for Curtis Samuel. I'll tell you that much. Now, the way wow, I always want to call him ODB, but that's definitely not his name. But the way that Odell Beckham, you know, has shown some promise, I don't think I would drop him just yet for Curtis Samuel either. Think we'd like to kind of wait and see a little bit, more of some overall actual sample size from Curtis Samuel. So to answer your question, I would say no, but it's a tough call. I do like Curtis Samuel. I do believe that he can still be valuable overall, but nonetheless, I wouldn't do it. Chase says no to dropping either. Yeah, I think I agree with you there, man. Uh, has OBJ fallen off, or is it just the Browns? Says Jerry. As Chase is asking, who else is on your bench? Uh, it's a tough matchup this week against the Chargers for Odell Beckham. Bad game against Minnesota, but he still had 7 targets. The week before, he had 9 targets. He just did a lot more with them, and only one red zone target on the season. But after this week, he's got Arizona, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Couple pretty tough stretch after that, man. But I I think that this has more to do with just the way that the Browns have been playing, man. So Baker is hurt shoulder. OBJ had 3 huge plays that didn't happen because Baker couldn't throw. So yeah, I agree with that, Chase. Mentality just traded away Patterson and got Hopkins. Trade goes through next week. Chase says no way, huge W. Yeah, I like Hopkins a lot, man. I think that that's a pretty good player. I mean, listen, man, right in the preseason, off season, you could have never predicted that you would have been able to do this in the, heading into week 5, right on the season. So yeah, I mean, Hopkins has been a little banged up, man. Uh, but listen, man, I mean, he only had 4 receptions in week 2 and has still had at least 13 fantasy points. He's due to bounce back a little bit here. A couple tough matchups. I mean, San Francisco, Cleveland, Houston, Green Bay, San Francisco again, Carolina. I mean, it's kind of back and forth. Some of those secondaries are not going to perform as well as they have. Uh, and then he's got very good stretch: Seattle, Chicago, LA, Detroit, Indy, and Dallas to finish the year. So, yeah, no, I think it's a good trade, man, for sure. All right, let's see here. I'm going to play Madden. I wish you guys could watch. Kind of sucks that that's not a thing we've been able to accomplish. I wonder if there's any way I can get that, if I can try it through here. But keep the fantasy Q&A rolling while I see if I can figure this out. And let's see here. While I'm at it, yeah, I didn't finish going through my 20-man roster. So I've got Aaron Jones at Cincinnati and James Robinson at Tennessee. I feel pretty good about uh, both of those starts overall. I got Jared Cook at Cleveland. And then right now I've got KJ Osborne at Detroit, and it's a pretty good matchup. I mean, outside of that, I've got Rondell Moore, Randall Cobb, and Samaje Perine, who I'm probably going to end up dropping Perine. I think Mixon's going to be okay. And even if he's not, I don't know how much Perine action we're going to see. Uh, the only guy I'm considering putting in here is Randall Cobb against Cincinnati. And let's see, as Jerry was talking about some good matchups down the stretch. Let's see here. Cincinnati, Chicago, Washington, Arizona. Kind of tough matchups. Not as tough as you think, but then down the stretch after that, Kansas City, Seattle, Minnesota, the Rams. A little tough there, but not too bad. Bye week then Chicago, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Yeah, I've been especially finishing against Baltimore and Cleveland is not bad. But yeah, yeah, I'm considering starting Randall Cobb, but I just don't know. I think the way we saw KJ Osborne play at the beginning of the year, he hasn't really gotten back to it, which is unfortunate because I need him to, right? But he's got Detroit. It's a good matchup. Um, I really, really hope that we can see him get back to that. I mean, he hasn't even had 5 targets since week 2. It's a good matchup, so we'll see what happens. Brendan Dye, I traded Melvin Gordon for Damon Harris. How did I do? I don't think that's a bad trade, man. Uh, Damon Harris got a great matchup this week versus Houston, right? It's good to see you, Brendan. Thanks for coming out tonight, man. Always great to have you here, brother. Hope you're doing fantastic. Uh, it's a good matchup versus Houston. Then he's got Dallas and the Jets. Then after that, Chargers, Carolina, Cleveland, Atlanta, Tennessee, Buffalo. So kind of off and on for him. Um, I'm looking. I picked up Deontay Harris. Okay, so going back to Damian Harris, right? I mean, two very disappointing weeks in the last 2 weeks, but nonetheless, man, I think he can bounce back to seeing how we saw him play in the beginning of the season. So I certainly hope that it works out for you. Let's check out Gordon here. He's got a bad matchup this week, so you at least won for this week, that's for sure. As Gordon's going against Pittsburgh, he's got Vegas and Cleveland. Uh, Washington, Dallas, Philly. Bye week, his playoff schedule looks okay. I mean, Kansas City, Detroit, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, depending on how many weeks your playoffs are going to be. But I don't think it's a bad trade, Brendan, to answer your question. All right, let's see here. Trying to see if I can't get Madden pulled up on the screen. All right, let's see here. Talia the sausage. Start T. Higgins or Brandon Cooks. I would start Higgins just based on the matchup alone. It's a very bad matchup for Brandon Cooks against the New England Patriots. I like T. Higgins' matchup a lot more. I mean, Packers are going to be down Jair Alexander more than likely. So uh, I would just say, based on the matchup alone, that T. Higgins is the better start. I mean, it's a tough call, but I mean, Cooks is going to see the volume. There's no one else to really throw to in the offense. He's going to have an opportunity to score more than likely, but it's just a bad matchup, man. Uh, I just don't feel good about it whatsoever. Let's see. Chase says to start Cooks. Ryan, what's going on, man? Let's see here. My other bench players are Bateman, Madison, and Burrow, and Josh Jacobs. Mr. Grapefruit, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Add Colts D for next week. Is anyone else doing that? Who do they play next week? Let me see here. Let's see. Let's see. Houston. Okay, that's who I thought. Then they got San Francisco, but then they got Tennessee, New York Jets, and Jacksonville. So pretty good lineup. And then they see Houston again in week 13. So then in week 15, they've got New England as well. So yeah, I think it's a good move, man. I mean, I picked up the Patriots early just because they were playing Houston this week. So yeah, I think it's a good move, Mr. Grapefruit. And it's a good shout out as well for the Catch fam as well. So we appreciate that, brother. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Guess I can also go through my 12-man lineup for the week as well. Man, I need Lamar to have a good game, man. Chase, I'm not sure I'd drop any of them for Samuel. I consider Bateman, but yeah, I kind of agree with that, man. Mr. Grapefruit, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate that. All right, let's see. Trying to see, trying to figure out if I can get Madden on the screen through Melon for you guys, or that's the streaming service we're using now. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys think that Lamar Jackson's going to have a good week versus the Colts or not. Jerry, my opponent had to start Cameron Brate. Should I consider that an easy matchup? I wouldn't necessarily say so. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant in terms of Bate or Brate versus Miami. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot with the target share he saw against New England, but New England's much better against opposing tight ends than Miami. Um, so uh, I'm hesitant here because Miami, their secondary has been pretty weak, but well, let me pull up a couple stats here. Let's see here. My starting tight end is Andrew, and now his is Cameron Brate. Okay, good to know. Let's see here, Mr. Cameron Brate. I hope Lamar has a good week. I have no other option. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. Yeah, I mean, New England's the second best team in the league against opposing tight ends, and they just absolutely crushed them. Miami's like ranked 21st against opposing tight ends, and he's had at least 5 targets in the last 2 games. He's had at least one red zone target in the last 3 games, so he's kind of due for a potentially good game. But I don't know how crazy I feel about it, man. He's definitely not Gronk, so I wouldn't be too scared about it. But I wouldn't expect like an absolutely awful game either. The Colts are ranked like number 15 against opposing tight ends, so uh, I mean the best game Mark Andrews has had was in Week 3 against Detroit. He was ranked 14th. Although he's played Las Vegas and Kansas City are much lower ranked. So I feel like Mark Andrews is due for a good game. So I mean, 3 red zone targets and a red zone touch last week. Those are the only red zone targets he's had all season long, which is crazy. So certainly think that Mark Andrews is due for a good game and could have one this week for you, Jerry. So I hope for the both of our sakes that Lamar Jackson and Jerry absolutely ball out. But I guess all we can do is wait and see what happens, man. So should get interesting, to say the least. We'll see what happens, man. All right, sorry, I'm still trying to see if I can't get. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull up Madden on here. Trying to read things online and run the stream. Chase, who was your team? Washington football team. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty rough over here, man. Richard Glass, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you as always. So Steven and I are putting together a mid-season catch fam fantasy league. So if you guys are interested, let me know. And I go ahead and put out if you guys are interested in playing in it. I'm going to go ahead and send the email in here, and you guys can email me your emails, and then I'll get you invited to the league. So we've still got some spots left to fill. So if you guys are interested in playing in that, we're going to try and coordinate everything, and definitely let me know. And yeah, if you're interested, just send your email to that email that I sent uh, in the chat, and we'll get you included, man. Trying to get. I mean, I know we've talked about the draft for next year and everything. We've had a lot of people interested, so I'm trying not to leave anyone out who might be interested. But I do apologize in advance if some of you guys who were maybe interested in playing don't see this and everything. But I might end up making an individual video as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Just to get out that information to everyone. But yeah, if you guys are interested, just send me your email. And it's kind of first come, first serve, which I kind of feel bad about. But yeah, I think that's the only way I can really do it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's see here. Still trying to see if I can't get Madden pulled up somehow. So if I can just get it pulled up on my laptop, then I can share my screen, which would work. Uh, don't think I have a HDMI import though. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Maybe do I trade Henderson for Deontay Johnson? I wouldn't. I mean Henderson's been playing quite well, so I mean I personally wouldn't, unless you're desperate at receiver, man. If you are, then I think that's okay. But yeah, I mean I think it's a pretty fair trade if you want a receiver, man. But I wouldn't personally, but I lean towards running backs. You guys know that. So Chase says to keep Henderson. Henderson looked quite good last night. It was a good matchup. Don't get me wrong, but he looks good when he's got the ball in his hands. Only thing that worries me there is, of course, uh, potential injury, right? Really, the only thing that scares me at all about Hendy's. D-Tendies, Daryl Henderson. I still feel very sad that I had to trade him in my 20-man league, but is what it is, right? What are you gonna do? All right, let's see here. Still trying to see if I can't figure out anything to get Madden on the screen, man. I miss having Madden up here. Was always a good time. Let's see. Just trying one last thing here. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Okay. Jerry, do we know how long Carson is out or if it's a long-term injury? We don't, to my knowledge. We haven't got any update on. All we know is that it's a neck injury, which is not very helpful. But to my knowledge, that's all we know. So unfortunately, not. Last I checked, we don't have any sort of update. Chase, if you're deep at running back, nothing wrong with trading him, but I'd want a better receiver. Yeah, I mean, Anderson's played quite well, right? Uh, so I like where he's at quite a bit. I really like holding on to him. And let's pull up how he finished after this past game. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, at least 14 points in every game, depending on scoring format this year. And he would be ranked a lot higher if he didn't miss week 3, which wouldn't have been a very good matchup anyways. I mean, he's got the Giants, Detroit, and Houston, the Tennessee, and San Francisco coming up. Then after the bye week, man, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Arizona, not a great matchup, but then Seattle, Minnesota, and Baltimore. I mean, some of those teams kind of middle of the pack, but a lot of good matchups coming up for Henderson. I would not trade him, man. At least 50 rushing touchdowns, or not 50 rushing touchdowns, at least 50 rushing yards, and a score in every game except for week 4. Uh, and yeah, I mean, wow, he's had 3 red zone targets this year from the receiving standpoint. And I mean, at least 17 receiving yards in every game, which is not bad either for kind of the style running back he is. So I would hold on to Henderson, man. I think he has a good outlook for the rest of the season, to be completely honest. Chase, if you're deep at running back, nothing wrong with trading him, but I'd want a better receiver. Yeah, I mean, the way he's been playing, and I feel like I just read that comment, I read it again, but the way he's been playing, man, you should demand, nothing wrong with Deontay Johnson, but I feel like you should probably demand a pretty good wide receiver the way that Henderson's been playing. I mean, nothing wrong with Johnson, man, who outside of the game he didn't play has had at least 12 fantasy points. So I don't think that's a bad option either. But I am currently kind of worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And moving down the stretch, they've got some tough matchups, although their fantasy playoff schedule is relatively uh, favorable overall. Richard Glass, Dawson Knox or Noah Fant, full point PPR. Currently have Fant in. Tougher matchup for Noah Fant. I mean, the Steelers are like number 12 against opposing tight ends right now. I wonder how Kansas City actually lines up because their secondary is obviously awful, but I wonder if how well they've played against opposing tight ends. Let's see here. Very bad. Okay, they're like 29th in the league. So I think it's a much better matchup for Dawson Knox. Uh, you guys know that Dawson Knox is my must-start tight end of the week, so I have to say Dawson Knox. If it was me, that's who I'd be starting. I think if you needed to, you could flex Noah Fant. I'm not completely against, starting him this week, but the Steelers are pretty good against opposing tight ends. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is going to play. Um, I don't hate that matchup either. I just don't love it. And I love this matchup for Dawson Knox. So personally, I would stick with Mr. Dawson Knox. Ben, what is going on, man? Hope you are doing fantastic tonight. Welcome to the catch. I have Hurts, Stafford, and Lance, and another person in my league has Wilson as his only quarterback. Which of my QBs do I trade to him? Ooh, good question, brother. Wow. Wow. Man, I like the ceiling and the upside of Lance. My co-host Steven would be killing me for saying this, but I feel like it has to be Lance, just with how consistent Hurts and Stafford have been. I would see what you can get for Lance would be my question. Let me know in the chat, guys. Who do you guys think Ben should trade? Hurts, Stafford, or Lance? Let me know. And let Ben know as well. I think I'm leaning toward Lance here. But the other kind of idea is you could trade either Hurts or Stafford and depend on either whoever you keep, whether it's Hurts or Stafford, and then have the upside of Lance on your bench available to yourself. So there's kind of two ways of looking at it. So that's why I'm interested in getting the chat's opinion as well. Chase, Devin Bush isn't great versus tight ends, though. Yeah, I don't disagree, but overall, Pittsburgh's been a lot better than Kansas City. So the matchup is good there. But then once again, that same problem with the Bills arises of so many different targets. It's going to be a competitive game. There's probably going to be a lot of points scored between the Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. So it's a tough call. You know, you could take the risk of Knox just ends up being the odd man out. But overall, I do feel like it's a far better start for Dawson Knox. Richard Glass, my flex is Antonio Gibson, but I was thinking of benching him for Corey Davis. I don't think that's a bad idea. It's a bad matchup for Antonio Gibson, and he's questionable. So I'm not feeling great about that, man. Uh, that's where I stand with that. I think Corey Davis against Atlanta is a better matchup overall. That's where I would sit right there. Uh, Ben, thanks for your opinion. Have a good one. Of course, man. And feel free to stop by anytime, brother. Appreciate you coming out tonight, man. And appreciate you being part of the stream tonight. Let's see here. Chase, I feel like if you keep Lance, you have an upside QB and a safe option too, meaning Lance paired with one of those other two. Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning too. I mean, initially I was like, just lean or trade Lance, you know, while you can sell him kind of high, because you don't know what's going to happen on the season. Uh, but then, yeah, I don't dislike the idea of just holding on to Trey Lance, as we know that Hurts and Stafford have played very well consistently, and you can kind of lean on them. Uh, I don't mind either option, honestly. I think you can sell Lance and get a pretty good outcome for it. But nonetheless, I think he could go either way. It's a good, it's definitely a good question. It's a good question overall. All right, let's see here. Sorry, guys, sending a quick text. All right. Yeah, man, I really wish I could get Madden up on the screen for you guys. It's kind of a nice weekend vibe, right? Especially for the Saturday night stream. If you guys are newer to the channel, you haven't tuned in for the late night Saturday stream, you guys are gonna have a blast tomorrow night. Make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow. All right, no more texting here. Try to get Steven to roll through tonight. Think he's going to. Jerry, what time is the late night stream? It's either going to start at 9:30 or 10, and then yeah, we go pretty late. I want to make sure I catch it. Yeah, I mean, if anything, you might miss the beginning of it, but you won't miss it, man. Yeah, probably be starting either 9:30 or 10. Just depends on how the day goes tomorrow, but we'll be going till like pretty late. uh, so yeah, hope you guys can make it. It's always yeah, 10 p.m. my time, Jerry. Sorry, forget that. I should probably specify that for the rest of you guys. Yeah, 10 p.m. my time, brother. All right, let's go through my 12-man roster here. If you guys have any fantasy Q&A, please let me know as well. All right. Antonio Brown versus Miami. He's projected 12 points. Let's see. One red zone touch last week, one red zone target last week. No touchdowns. Hasn't really done much. I mean, he also had that big play called back as well. Or was it just Brady missed him? But 11 targets last week. It's a pretty good matchup versus Miami. I feel pretty good about this start. Man, he's got a tough fantasy playoff uh stretch. Jeez. Right now I've got Dalton Schultz and Mike Gesicki in. I don't feel crazy bad about that, man. I honestly feel like looking at my bench, they give me the best uh way to win. And it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I've got the Patriots defense, which I feel quite good on. My opponent's got Las Vegas's defense versus Chicago, which I actually don't. I'm not that scared of, man. Uh, Only other players I can start. I got Tim Patrick versus Pittsburgh, Henry Ruggs versus Chicago, and Javonte Williams versus Pittsburgh as well. So I don't hate those starts, but I just don't feel great about them. Man, we might have to try and do an early morning Sunday stream and watch some of this London game, right? Which doesn't sound that exciting. I never really enjoyed those games, but we might have to, man. Uh KA9, good plays. What's going on? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the catch, man. How do you think Tyler Lockett is going to do without Russell for 6 to 8 weeks? I'm pretty worried about these Seahawks receivers. I mean, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the stream. I think that they still hold value. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still, DK especially, but DK and uh, Lockett are still very valuable players overall. I am concerned to answer your question, KA9, but uh, I think it's a good time to try and trade Tyler Lockett. I'll put it that way. As I see Jerry saying, as a Lockett owner, I'm hoping for the best. I think that's all you can do, or you can consider trading them. But I wouldn't give up completely. I wouldn't give up 100%. I think that these guys are still going to hold some value overall. But it's a good question, KA9. Jerry, I also started the Patriots. My opponent has the Titans. Yikes, man. Titans suck. I'm sorry. I'm not for streaming the Titans. I'm really not. Aiden Denning, which side would you choose? CMC, Najee, and Hopkins, or Kamara, Carson, Ridley, and Kittle? I think I would personally roll with CMC, Najee, and Hopkins. But I lean very running back heavy. You guys know that. So I just like that 1-2 punch of CMC when healthy and Najee Harris. And I love DeAndre Hopkins on the rest of the season. But I mean, Chris Carson's banged up. Ridley's been iffy. Kittle's been iffy and banged up. But I do love me some Alvin Kamara. But I think personally, I would roll with CMC, Najee, and Hopkins. Chases, that's hard. I kind of want to lean the tight end side. Yeah, I don't hate that either. But I think personally, I would roll with that 1-2 punch of CMC and Najee and the consistency of Hopkins as well. Aaron Reborn, what's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight, man. Hope you're doing fantastic. Always good to have you, brother. KA9. So I have Tyler Lockett, so that's why I asked. So I need to know if I should trade him. It's a tough call. Let's see. Let's pull up the schedule for the Seahawks down the stretch. Gosh, before this week, Lockett was wide receiver 9 still, even with a couple bad games in a row. Let's just look. Okay, so it's about 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So presumably when Russell comes back, they've got Houston, the Rams again, Chicago, and Detroit. So pretty good matchups. It's a tough call, guys. I mean, do you guys think that we're panicking if we trade Tyler Lockett right now, or do we think that this is a good idea? I mean, I know a lot of you guys are concerned, but There's some good matchups down the stretch, man. It could help you guys in your fantasy playoffs. I mean, I think if you can get a package deal, I think he's worth trading. Uh, because I don't know what we're going to see out of the Seahawks offense. As I see you saying, I think I would wait 1 week. I don't think that's a bad idea either, just to see how this offense rolls out without Russell Wilson. They looked okay in that one drive. I don't know how confident I am in Geno Smith overall, but I don't think that the value of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett is completely erased. Um, but it's tough to say, man. It truly is. As Chase is asking, who's your other receivers? Then it's basically RB1, RB1, wide receiver one, RB1, RB2, wide receiver one, and tight end one. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that statement either. I still think I lean with the 1-2 punch of you know CMC and Najee. Aaron Reborn, by chance, was there a draft date? Not set yet, brother. We're still figuring out the logistics. Make sure that you do join on the Sleeper app. And I'm still kind of figuring that out with Steven, but probably will be sometime next week before, uh, before week 6 kicks off, is I think what we're going to try and do here. But no, we have not set a date just yet, but I'll keep you updated, Aaron Reborn. Do not worry whatsoever. Aiden Denning, is CMC injured again? I heard he hurt his leg at practice again and is out 6 weeks. Let's look into it. I heard that they just decided he wasn't going to play. But let me see what I can pull up here, because that's definitely not good news if he's out for another consecutive 6 weeks. Uh, Coach Matt Rule said McCaffrey might do some things health wise on Saturday, but was not going to play any games with the injury status. He'll sit this week. So no crazy updates there. Let me check a second source, and then we'll check a third source, because why not? McCaffrey hamstring is listed as doubtful. This comes as somewhat of a surprise after McCaffrey made optimistic comments Thursday afternoon and reportedly made it through Friday's practice without setbacks. None of that has been contradicted, but it's possible the Panthers never truly had week 5 in mind for a return. I don't see anything about him getting hurt again, but let me check one more time here. See if I can't find anything else out there. I don't see anything about him getting hurt. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. So yeah, so I don't know. I haven't found anything. But if you guys find anything else on Christian McCaffrey, please let me know. KA9, thanks. Yeah, man, of course. Appreciate you. Any new faces out there, man? Hope you guys consider subscribing and becoming part of the Catch fam tonight. But nonetheless, appreciate all you guys coming out to the stream, and shout out to all of the Catch fam. Chase Gino might throw a lot. That defense sucks. Yeah. Depends what you need, Aiden. What side of the trade are you? Aiden, all right. Thanks. I might have been misinformed. I think he might be out until week 6. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, Aiden. I do believe that he had a shot to play here in week 5, but they decided to against it. But I think he definitely has a shot to play in week 6. Much better shot than he had here in week 5. So that may have been you may not have been misinformed, may just been a misunderstanding, or so I guess it's the same thing as being misinformed. But yeah, I think that's what you're looking at there, is that he did practice this week. I don't think he got re-injured or anything. Um, but they've just decided to go ahead and bench him until week 6. So yeah, I think that's where maybe that confusion got for you, brother. But nonetheless, it's always good to pull up uh, and check those injury updates as well. So no worries there at all, brother. I am a Christian McCaffrey owner, so I definitely wanted to do my due diligence there to make sure there wasn't anything out there that I didn't know about. All right, let's see here. Man, I really wish I could get Madden up on the stream for you guys. Let's see here. I'm just going to start messing with a couple things. Keep the fantasy Q&A rolling, guys. Probably going to be winding down by like 11:30 tonight. A little bit of a shorter stream on the night. So make sure you guys get out any fantasy Q that you guys have for the night. But don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. It's either going to start at 9:30 at 10 for the Saturday night late stream. Always have a good time on the Saturday night late streams, man. As much as it is primarily fantasy oriented, fantasy Q&A heading into Sunday. We always have a good time on Saturday nights, just kind of talking about whatever comes up as well. So uh, definitely, uh, definitely check out the stream tomorrow as well. Kind of seeing if I can't mess around with some of the settings and see if I can't get Madden on here. Although I'm pretty sure I can't. It's just why not? Why not check, right? All right, let's see here. Jerry, how do you feel about taking your Funko Pops out of the box? That's dangerous, man. That's like yeah, as Richard Glass says, blasphemy. I've got some out of the box, but not many. When I first started collecting them, I would take some out of the box just to have more room to display them. And I've got some that I actually really like out of the box due to that. I mean, I've got I don't know where it went. Thought it was right above me. But a little Space Ghost Coast to Coast one that's pretty dope. That's out of the box. I don't know where that went, so never mind. Uh, but yeah, uh, Richard Glass. I only unbox if I have doubles. Yeah, good call there, man. Uh, we'll definitely get in the Funko Pop talk tomorrow. I feel like that's been brewing all week. K9, I have 5 wide receivers. I have Devonta Adams, Tyler Lockett, and Justin Jefferson, and DJ Moore, and Debo Samuels. So, who do I play this week? I had Tyler. So, what other 2 wide receivers should I play? It's a good question. Definitely Devonta Adams. And wow, I like Jefferson and Moore and Debo. Wow. Quite honestly, man, I think it has to be Devonta Adams and Justin Jefferson. I think those. I mean, I love DJ Moore. You guys know I'm a huge DJ Moore fan, so he'd be the other guy I'd mention. And Debo Samuel's been fantastic, but gosh, I just have a hard time sitting Adams and Justin Jefferson. So I think those would be my 2 selections. But that's a very good problem to have, man. Aiden, one more trade for you. 2 quarterback PPR league. I got offered Lamar and Godwin for Cup and Kirk Cousins. Which side would you take? I think I'd lean Cup and Kirk Cousins. I like Lamar and Godwin as well. But that's quite difficult, man. That's a very good question. Uh, let us know in the chat for Aiden. Lamar and Godwin or Cup and Kirk Cousins. I think I'm leaning Cup and Kirk Cousins. But you know how sometimes the first half of the fantasy season doesn't turn out like the second half? Maybe Lamar and Godwin are better down the stretch. Maybe we see some natural regression from Cup. But I still feel like in my gut, Kirk Cousins and Cup is the better half there. Jerry, how many Funko Pops do you have, and which ones are your favorite? I think they look better out of the box. Yeah, I don't mind if that's how you roll, man. Not at all. I don't know how many Funko Pops I have. I sold actually kind of recently. I sold like 40 of them on eBay and like a giant lot. Um, I've got a good bit. We can pull them out tomorrow. I can get that going. We can pull them out tomorrow. My favorite ones are probably the 3 that I showed you behind me last night. Uh, definitely that OG Vision Funko Pop. and the Heisenberg, Breaking Bad, Funko Pop. Those are probably my two favorite. But we'll break them out tomorrow for sure for the Saturday late stream, Jerry. KA9, I asked someone and they said the same thing. Yeah, I don't disagree there. Chase, bench one, rest of the season. AJ Brown, Adams, Debo, and Terry. Ooh, that's tough, Chase. Ooh, I'm inclined to say AJ Brown, although I think he's gonna get better down the stretch. And we haven't seen how Debo's gonna necessarily play with Trey Lance, I guess, fully. Uh wow, I'm inclined to say AJ Brown here. Aiden, yeah, that's what I thought. I'm still going back and forth here, Chase. That's very tough. Very, very tough. Very tough, to say the least. Jeez. KA9, what are your top 10 running backs this season to trade for? That's a good question. Let's pull up the RBs, guys. Let's see where we're at RB wise on the season. Let's see some running backs. Hmm. Chase, I'm leaning AJ, but things will change as time goes on. I definitely agree with that statement. Or a good backup running back. Hmm. Huh, huh, huh. I still like trading for Najee Harris and James Robinson. I still like trading for Nick Chubb. Don't mind trading for DeAndre Swift. Don't mind trading for Daryl Henderson. Don't mind trading for Mixon or Barkley. I think Edmonds is a good RB2 to have around. Don't mind Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think he's going to continue to get better. It might not be this week against Buffalo, but down the stretch, Zach Moss, I don't mind at all. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, man. He's top 10 running back right now. Things will change, but I don't mind where he's at. James Conner is someone who I'm really starting to like on the season. Definitely touchdown dependent. K9, I have Elliott and Henderson. I mean, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch right there. But man, I feel good about James Conner right now. And Kareem Hunt. I don't mind trying to trade for Josh Jacobs either. But he's got two very tough matchups coming up. But then I gets a little bit of a break with Philly, then a bye week, then the Giants, Kansas City. Um, he's got a very bad fantasy playoff matchup schedule, so I don't know actually how I feel too much about that. But yeah, Kareem Hunt, James Conner, Zach Moss. I like where all of them are at. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chase Edmonds as well. Leonard Fournette is kind of an interesting one as well, but I don't know how confident I feel in that selection. Uh, do I think they will do good this season? Absolutely. I would have no, I would not be discouraged about Zeke or Henderson whatsoever. Richard Glass, start Madison and bench Cook, or start Damian Williams as my running back. I'm not in love with this Damian Williams play. I think it could work out, but I just think that the floor is a little low. Uh, it just depends on if Cook plays or not. As I see you guys talking about that right now, you and Chase. And if he plays, I think you have to start him. It's a good matchup against the Lions. Uh, Chase is saying Damien Harris and James White injured. I think that's another good pickup and probably someone you could buy pretty low too. But yeah, I think if Cook is starting, then you do have to play him, Richard. Chase Madison is a smash start. If Cook is out, if Cook plays, go with Damian. Uh, it's tough. It's tough to say, man. It's like even if Cook plays and he gets hurt, that makes Madison a good start. It's tough to say, Richard. It's tough. But I think I would lean towards Cook if he's starting. I I don't feel crazy about this Williams start. Has more to do with the Bears offense than anything. But he is an RB1. If they get in the red zone, he's got as good of a shot as anyone in that offense to score. I mean, this offense not really loaded with weapons, right? That's a tough call, Richard. I could go back and forth on this one for quite some time. Aiden, game time decision, I believe, but leaning on not playing. Yeah, it's a good matchup for Alexander Madison. I like the Vikings a lot more than I like the Bears. Addison, I think Madison is safer, but Cook has more upside. I think I agree with that as well. Uh, let's see. Sorry, my brother was texting me something. I couldn't tell if it was important. Uh, what's a good defense I should get this season from K-A-9? Ooh. Steven drops those must start defense videos, must start stream defense teams every week. So make sure you check those out, man. But I have Bears defense right now. I don't mind them. I don't. I mean, it just depends on who's available, right? I think there's in a lot of leagues a lot of good defenses out there, and a lot of good potential starters as starting defenses as well. Uh, in my league right now, mine and Steven's league, I've got the Pats. I don't know if I believe in them long term, but they definitely got a good matchup this week. Let's see here, man. The Colts are available. They've got some good matchups coming up. So I don't mind the Colts right now. Actually, I'm considering picking up the Colts this week. So I have them versus Houston next week. Then they've got a bad matchup versus San Francisco. But then after that, Tennessee, the Jets, and Jacksonville. And then two tough matchups, Buffalo and Tampa Bay, before they face Houston again, then a bye week, and then New England. So Colts have some pretty good matchups coming up, and they're probably worth stashing and playing accordingly. The Arizona Cardinals might be available in a lot of leagues. I mean, two tough matchups, San Francisco, Cleveland, but then they see Houston. Another bad matchup. I mean, Green Bay, San Francisco, Carolina might be a good stream versus Seattle. They might be worth picking up just for week 7, but I like the Colts right now. And then the Cowboys are like the 5th ranked team in the league right now. So I don't mind them either. And they got the Giants in New England. So I think they're worth messing around with as well. But I like the Colts right now, man. I truly do. But I wouldn't necessarily drop the Bears. They're like the 6th best team defensively in the league. So I don't mind them. The Saints might be available coming off a bad performance. I don't know if I'm crazy about them against Washington. They get Seattle and Geno Smith after the bye, but then they got Tampa Bay. But then after that, Atlanta and Tennessee. I mean, they've got some good matchups and some tough matchups. But yeah, I think the Colts might be my answer there, man. Uh, so yeah, they're probably available, and they've got some good matchups. I mean, their secondary hasn't played very well, but outside of that, they looked all right, man. All right, let's see here. Hope that was helpful, KA9. Aiden, I think Madison is safer, but Cook has more upside. Phase 10 foil, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Should I start Amari Cooper this week or LaVisca Chenault? It's a good matchup for Cooper. Don't get me wrong, because ceiling is going to be pretty high this week. But Chenault's got such a good matchup versus Tennessee. I like both those guys, man. Honestly, Tenfoil, I think you could flip a coin between the two. I like both of them, but Chenault's got a juicy matchup versus Tennessee, man. I think I'm leaning towards him. Although Cooper versus the Giants ain't bad either, man. That's a good problem to have. Face Tenfoil. It's good to see you, brother. Let's see here. B Dub's thoughts on Debo's value with Lance. Yeah, we kind of touched on that. a little bit earlier with some questions around Debo, right? And I don't think that it tanks his value too much, but I mean, he's still like wide receiver 3, depending on scoring format on the year. Arizona's been bad in the secondary. I wouldn't worry about Debo, guys. I think he's going to be okay, to be completely honest, B dubs. Jerry, what about the Steelers defense? Long term, I have them on my bench. Good question, man. Good question here. Let's see here. Let me pull up a couple stats. Yeah, I mean, they're still, let's see. Oh, they got a couple bad matches. I mean, they got Denver this week. Teddy's going to play, so that shouldn't be too great of a matchup. And they got Geno Smith in Seattle next week. Might be a juicy matchup. Then after the bye, Cleveland, bad matchup. But then Chicago and Detroit. But then really facing pretty good teams after that. Chargers, Cincy, Baltimore, Minnesota, Tennessee, Kansas City, Cleveland, Baltimore. So they can always cause turnovers, which is what you want from a defensive team in fantasy. If you get points for sacks, I mean, they're a team that's going to get a lot of sacks. So not a bad team to have on your bench, but there might be better teams out there to exploit. Looking at matchups, Kashif, what is going on? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Do you think trading away Ridley, CEH, and Hawkinson for Kelsey and Robert Woods is good? PPR and my RBs are Zeke, Najee, and Swift. I would say yes. Yeah, I mean, you're getting the best tight end in fantasy football. And as we saw yesterday, I talked about this a little bit. Robert Woods is not someone to give up on. Season's going to get better. I like that trade, man. I would definitely consider that. I like your running back core a lot, and I don't mind that trade whatsoever, man. I truly don't. Aiden Hubbard and Javonte Williams is RB2 this week. Yeah. I mean, I don't think those are bad starts due to volume. Let's see here. KA9, what do you say is a good backup running back? Hubbard, yeah. I think Hubbard and Williams, as well as Edmonds, if you could consider him a backup running back, is another good one. So I like all those guys for sure. Face and Foil, thanks, man. Good to see you. Good to see you always, brother. KA9, try to get Damien Harris this chase. I like that call as well. I truly do. Man, I'm thinking about going ahead and picking up the Colts defense, just looking at those matchups we just went over in my 12-man league. I don't think they're available in my 20-man league, but I better check. There's no way they're going to be available, but I'm going to check. Who do I have again? Dallas. Okay. Yeah, Dallas is playing great football. The Colts are not available. Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Tennessee. Wow, Chicago's available. Let's see. They don't have as many good matchups down the stretch, though. Richard Glass, I think I have Damien Harris starting in each of my leagues. Hope he shows up and shows out. I mean, it's a great matchup versus Houston. So I don't mind that at all, man. I hope he does for your sake as well, Richard. So I definitely think that it could. All right, let's see here. S'mores, what's going on, man? Any new faces out there? Hope you guys consider subscribing tonight, becoming part of the Catch fam. But nonetheless, good to see any new faces and many familiar faces tonight as well. Arizona defense versus 49ers and Trey Lance. As I see Aiden saying, I do like Arizona's defense this week. I mean, I definitely think they will cause a turnover in this game. But I still think that Trey Lance and the Niners have a pretty good shot at having a good game this week. Steven always drops our must-start defensive teams, on the week as well. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out his video as well for the week. But yeah, I mean, I think we like Trey Lance, and I like the opportunity that the 49ers have. But overall, I do feel like the Arizona Cardinals will cause at least one turnover and probably have a pretty solid fantasy stat line. But I don't think they're going to go out here and have like the type of performance they had in week 1 against the Titans, or like 15 to 20 points. But I could see somewhere between 8 and 12 points for the Cardinals for sure. But I think that the Niners are going to play okay this week. So we'll see what happens. But I don't hate it as a stream for the week. Jerry, should I drop the Steelers and pick up either Miami or Green Bay based on the Week 6 matchup? That's a good question. That's a good question. Let's check it out. Let's see. Let's see. Week 6 matchup for Miami is Jacksonville. And then looking at Green Bay, I think Green Bay is going to get worse, man. With J.R. Alexander going down, they've got Chicago. Honestly, man, I think I lean towards Pittsburgh between those three teams still. Who do they face in Week 6? I mean, they've got Seattle. I would still lean towards Pittsburgh facing Geno Smith, to be honest with you, man. Face 10 was Damon Harris. We're starting over Najee. I would say no. I would say no. I still like Najee Harris quite a bit, and I do think that he's going to have a good week, man. I mean, I think Damon Harris is going to have a good week too. Uh, but very, very tough for me to tell you to bench Najee Harris. Although it's a tough matchup versus Denver. Don't get me wrong. The last time he had a tough matchup versus Buffalo, he played quite poorly. But I just don't know if we can set Najee Harris. It's a bad matchup. So it might be worth it. Let me know in the chat, man. Uh, Najee Harris or Damien Harris, or Najee Harris or Damien Harris. Najee's got Denver. Damian's got Houston. So it's a tough call. I think one player is much better, but one player's got a much tougher matchup than the other. Richard Glass, I have Najee and Damian both starting in one of my leagues. Denver D will be tough though. Yeah, they're fucking good, man. They're good. It's a tough call there. Aiden says he'd start Najee, FaZe. Yeah, I have Najee, Damon Harris, CH, and Aaron Jones. Yeah. Richard's got Najee, Damian, Moss, and CMC. Good running back squads, guys. Good stacks here. I like it. Much better than mine. How mine turn out. A couple injuries and gosh, Gus Edwards, CMC, and David Montgomery. Anyways, Jerry, sounds good. I'm starting the Steelers next week. Yeah. I would lean that. I would lean on Geno Smith making a couple of mistakes next week. But yeah, definitely tough calls. Good questions tonight, guys. Keep them up. Keep them up, guys. Love seeing the Catch fam in full force tonight, man. It's always good. Nothing like it. Nothing like a little bit of the Catch fam. So while we're here, guys, let me know. I mean, we've been trying to do more of the live streams on a consistent basis. I'm interested to get your guys' feedback if you guys like the pre-recorded videos more, or you like the live streams overall, or if you guys want to see more of a blend of both to continue. That's kind of what we're working towards. But just interested to get your guys' feedback, man. And I think the streams have been really nice in terms of interaction, in terms of really being able to dive in to these fantasy questions. But as we are a newer channel, it's always good to get your guys' feedback. So let me know what you guys have been thinking about the streams, what we could do to potentially improve them. I mean, we've had some technical issues over the past week, right? I mean, having to use a different platform, Madden no longer on the screen, but let me know in general what you guys would like to see from the channel overall, and what we could do to improve, because I definitely am always going to take your guys' critiques. Jerry, could have had a great running back core with Henry and Carson, but Carson went down. Yeah, injuries this year, man. It's been insane. S'mores, Kyle Pitts over Dawson Knox this week. I don't think I can. I like Kyle Pitts. If you missed the must start tight end / quarterback stream, go back and watch that. And I mean, just beginning of it, we hit the tight ends pretty early. I talked about both of those guys. Like Kyle Pitts this week, I think he's going to have a good week versus the Jets. But Dawson Knox is my must start tight end on the week versus Kansas City, the 29th worst team in the entire National Football League against opposing tight ends. A lot of target share on that offense. Kyle Pitts will probably get more targets overall. But nonetheless, man, Dawson Knox is the way he's been playing and against this how bad this defense has been against posting tight ends. Uh, I would start Dawson Knox all day long. Phase 10 foil, Noah Fant or Tyler Hawkinson. I'm benching Fant right now. Good question. Good question here. Go ahead and pull up the stats here. Uh, I'm leaning towards Noah Fant in this game, or between the two. But I mean, because Chicago, oh, excuse me, Minnesota, I should say. I keep thinking that Chicago, the Lions are playing this week, although I know that they're not. Minnesota is like the 13th ranked team against opposing tight ends. He's due for a big game. I don't mind the start of Hawkinson, but I mean, with Fant, this is the 12th ranked team in Pittsburgh against opposing tight ends. It's a tough call. I think you could, I think you could flip a coin between the two. Quite honestly, it's a very tough call. Very, very tough call. Let us know in the chat for phase 10 foil, Fant or Hawkinson. Because me being big on tight ends, that's still a hard answer to question. A hard question to answer. Wow. It's the end of the week, guys. It's been a long week. So excuse my my verbiage there. All right, let's see here. Richard Glass, I like the streams. If you add a support button, I would join that as well. Okay, appreciate that, man. Definitely do appreciate that, Richard. Jerry, the live streams are really enjoyable since we're all able to interact. Yeah, that's what I like about it. Kind of brings the community together. The pre-recorded videos are fun to watch since they're short. Yeah, that's we're trying to kind of improve those a little bit throughout the week. But I appreciate that feedback. You guys do a good job of keeping up with the chat, but I understand how hard it can be sometimes. It can be hard, but it's fun. So I appreciate that feedback, Jerry. Holden, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Trade Cook and Madison for Henry. Yes, absolutely, you should. And non PPR, yeah. PPR, non PPR, super flex, 20 man, 2 man. My answer is yes. Still love Dalvin Cook on the season. Like that you have the handcuff situation going on there, but it's hard to call week in and week out. And with Derrick Henry, you're getting the best player in fantasy football when Christian McCaffrey is not healthy. And when he is healthy, the second best player in fantasy football. So my answer is all day long. Take that trade while you can, man. Get Derrick Henry on your squad. I don't think it's a bad idea whatsoever. Any new faces out there, man? Hope you guys consider subscribing tonight, becoming part of the Catch fam. But if not, just appreciate you guys coming out to the stream, and any members of the Catch fam we haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button so we can help get some new viewers into the stream tonight. But Holden, that's a good question. And if you're asking me, man, I would say Henry all day long. So appreciate the question, man. Let me know if you have any others. S'mores, thanks. Should I look to trade Lockett now that Wilson is out 6 to 8 weeks? I would give it a week or so. I still think that he's going to hold some value. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on these Seahawks wide receivers. I've gone back and forth all night. We've talked about this quite a bit tonight. And Geno Smith is not Russell Wilson by any means, but I still think he's going to throw the football a lot, right? I would give it another week or so and see where Lockett's at. And I think then at worst case, you can make him part of a package deal. But I still think he's going to hold some value on the season overall. So I wouldn't necessarily give up just yet. But if you're trying to make a good package deal, then I don't mind it. I don't mind throwing him in there, but I just want to see good value because I still think he holds some pretty good value. And he's got, the Seahawks wide receivers have some good matchups down the stretch, closer to those games that are going to be crucial to get you into the playoffs and closer to the actual fantasy championship as well. So I wouldn't give up completely just yet. Let's see how this next week or so goes with the Seahawks. KA9, top 5 tight ends. Wow. Tough question. Tough question. I mean, Kelsey's my number one, of course. I don't think there's any question about it whatsoever, right? I don't think we're gonna have to ever, reconsider that the next coming years. Darren Waller is my number two, no question about it. Once again, then after that, it gets a little murky, right? I mean, there's a lot of different directions he could go. I mean, Kittle hasn't played that great. Tanyan hasn't played great at all. Mike Gesicki's been a little bit disappointing, although a little bit better in the last couple of weeks. Kyle Pitts hasn't really showed up, right? Yeah, Kittle's been banged up and everything. So that's been frustrating. Man, I'm inclined to say, I mean, I really like where Hawkinson's at, and I really like where Dawson Knox is at. Hawkinson hasn't been playing as well. I like where Noah Fant is at. Dalton Schultz is a top 5 fantasy tight end, right? Andrews has been a little bit disappointing. Jared Cook's been better than expected. Dallas Goddard's been just about right where we expected him. I like Tyler Higbee right now. I know I'm just kind of going over everyone at this point. It's not what you asked, but man, where's Kittle ranked right now? These injuries have really messed up this season. Yeah, I mean he's still like tied in 11, man. I mean I still think on the season, right? The way things are looking, I would lean Kelsey Waller. I would still put Kittle in there, honestly, and Hawkinson on the season. And then it gets kind of murky for that number 5. But the guys I have the most confidence in are probably Noah Fant, Dalton Schultz, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goddard, Mike Gesicki, Dawson Knox, and Tyler Higbee, which is like 7 players. So I don't think that helped, but uh, it's hard to say at this point in time. I think I have my top 4 down, but I don't know about that 5th spot. It gets kind of murky. Chases, Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle. Yeah, I still think those are my top 3. K9, I had Darren Waller as my tight end. Yeah, then stick with him all season long, man. Don't let him get away. Pitts gets targets galore. He is doing very well in terms of targets. I think he's still going to have a good season overall, but uh, the Falcons' offense is what worries me. Right? It's not necessarily Kyle Pitts, but Falcons' offense is definitely what worries me. Richard Glass later catch him back to watching some more New World. Looking forward to tomorrow night's pop show. Yeah, man. Looking forward to having you there, man. It's always good to have you, Richard. Loyal member of the Catch fam. So always appreciate you, Richard. We will see you tomorrow night. Not sure if I'm going to kick off at 9:30 or 10, but as always, brother, I appreciate you, man. And we will talk to you later. Thanks for coming out tonight, and peace. But uh man, tight ends. I always love tight ends in fantasy football, man. I truly do. And it's I don't want to say it's basically turned out how I thought it would so far on the season because that's not true, but still pretty close, honestly. Robert Tanyan's been my biggest disappointment on the season. I really vouch for him, man. And he has not turned out well at all. I mean, the amount of red zone targets just hasn't been there. And I don't feel great about him. I certainly hope that he turns that around though, for sure. But we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. All right, let's see here. Just checking one thing real quick, guys. All right. So let me know which tight end were you guys high on? And the other guy I forgot is Logan Thomas, who's being put on IR. But uh, I really like where Logan Thomas is at when he's healthy as well. That's like the only guy I think I forgot there. Let me know which tight end you guys were high on going into the season, who's maybe semi disappointed you guys now that the season has started. Be interested to hear about that. All right, let's see here. All right, guys. We will probably start to wind down the stream. Uh, do have to work tomorrow, but like I said, we will definitely be kicking off tomorrow between 9:30 and 10 for the late night stream, which is always, Saturday night is always the best stream of the week. Phase 10 foil, see ya. I'll be back tomorrow. All right, brother. Looking forward to having you tomorrow during Saturday night late stream. Always good to have you, brother. So I hope you have a good night. Thanks for coming through tonight. But yeah, if you guys have any final fantasy Q&A on the night, go ahead and shout it out. And we'll keep rolling for about another 10 minutes. Probably try and get off of here by 11:30 so I can get some decent sleep and kind of get rolling for tomorrow overall. And definitely, if you guys have any topics that you want brought up in the Saturday night late stream, go ahead and get those thoughts going so that we can get everything going for tomorrow overall. Saturday night late streams are always a blast, man. So looking forward to rolling into that tomorrow, man. But yeah, any Final Fantasy Q&A you guys have got for the night, please let me know as well. Jerry, I got nothing for now. I'll try to make it to tomorrow's stream. Yeah, please be there, brother. I don't want to roll out the Funko Pops without you, man. So definitely try and make it tomorrow, man. And because I want you to be a part of that, bro. I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through. As always, it's good to see you, brothers. Of course. All right, let's see here. Khalil Sagal. Hey, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Sorry if I just butchered your name. Hope you enjoy the end of the stream here. Hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam tonight by subscribing down below. But let's get to your question, brother. Appreciate you coming out nonetheless. Hollywood Brown, Galladay, Robinson, or Mooney. Pick one. Thanks, bro. Yeah, of course. You got him, man. I would lean towards Hollywood Brown as he's got a good matchup against the Colts. Secondary has not performed very well against opposing wide receivers this season. But I also like Kenny Galladay versus Dallas. They've also not performed very well against opposing wide receivers, although, Diggs has played pretty good, and you can kind of assume that he might be lining up against Kenny Galladay. So I would lean towards Hollywood Brown. I don't want to take a bet on the Bears wide receivers right now. I'm not feeling crazy about them, although it's a pretty decent matchup against the Raiders. Uh, if I was going to go with one of them, it would definitely be Mooney, and definitely not. I'm not feeling great about Allen Robinson right now. So personally, I think Cleo, I would roll with Hollywood Brown. I think that would be my personal selection, but I don't mind the Kenny Galladay start either. I just have a bad feeling Diggs is going to be matching up on him, and I don't know how I feel about that, right? But overall, Dallas secondary has played pretty poorly, so I don't necessarily dislike that start. But and once again with Mooney, don't feel great about it, but the Raiders defense has not played great either. So I appreciate that question, man. Hope you enjoy the end of the stream here as we're getting ready to wind down. But if you have any other questions, please let me know. And yeah, consider hitting that sub button, becoming part of the Catch fam tonight as well. I think we've done a good job this week, guys, getting prepared, heading in to week 5 here. You know, I feel like we're pretty well prepared for week 5. Uh, Appreciate it, bro. Got another subscriber. Good vibes. Appreciate you, man. Sorry you're coming in towards the end of the stream for the night. Don't mean to cut you off here as we're probably winding down by 11:30. But I appreciate you coming out tonight, man. And yeah, make sure to tune in for the Saturday night late stream. We'll be starting between 9:30 and 10 tomorrow, and we'll be cooling till pretty late. Usually like 2 or 3 on Saturday night, just doing fantasy Q&A and hanging out, playing Madden and just talking about whatever, man. So appreciate you coming out tonight, man. Appreciate that support as well. Yeah, man, I really want to like these Bears receivers, but I just don't feel super confident. Uh, I mean, I want to like Justin Fields. I want him to be good, man. I've got him in my 20-man league. So, I mean, he's my backup quarterback to Trevor Lawrence. So, I still think that they can get it put together, but I don't like the way Robinson's playing at all from a fantasy perspective. I think due to volume and due to where you drafted him, you have to maybe hold on to him for another week or two. But he's been someone that I've been kind of recommending putting on the trading block. So tough call. Mooney's playing much better, but it's a tough call, man. Jordy, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing fantastic tonight, man. If you're new here, hope you consider subscribing tonight, becoming part of the Catch fan. But nonetheless, man, appreciate you coming out, man. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that like button so we can get some new viewers out to the stream while we wind things down here. Let's get to the question, brother. Damien Williams, Godwin, Hollywood Brown, or Hunt in the flex. I have Cook and Patterson as my RB1 and RB2. Thank you. Yeah, of course, man. Uh, I like Godwin this week versus Miami. I think he's going to have a pretty good game. I like Hollywood Brown a lot. Indianapolis secondary has been pretty vulnerable. So I like both of those guys. But I think you can take a chance with Kareem Hunt as well. I mean, he is looking pretty feisty, man. He's still a top 10 running back on the season right now. So I got no problem with Kareem Hunt. And I think in terms of starting Cook, Patterson, and Hunt, that's pretty lethal, man. So I like how that would look in terms of an output for you, but it is a tough matchup versus the Chargers. Uh, so you could kind of weigh that as well, right? But I think Godwin and Hollywood Brown have a lot of upside. I'm not feeling great about the Damien Williams start, and I've admitted I might be getting this one wrong. It's really just a gut feeling. I just don't feel great about it. As I see you asking Hunt over Williams. Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel great about the Williams start, man. It's one of those weird fantasy feelings, right? I could be completely wrong on this. I don't have a lot of logical sense. It's not uh, the worst matchup against the Raiders, but I'm just a little bit worried about the Bears' offense overall. So I've got one of those back and forth feelings on this one, man. I truly do. So it's a tough call. But I feel better about Hunt to answer your question, even though it's a relatively tough matchup against the Chargers. I mean, on the season, Hunt's already proven, right? With Williams, we haven't seen him in a full game of action. Now, he is going to be the RB1 over the next 5 weeks at least for the Bears. I mean, we've got the rookie out there as well, but we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that. Wow, I keep forgetting this rookie running back's name. Isn't it Herbert? Yeah, I think it is. On the Bears, and he's pretty damn good as well. So I think that might be something to monitor. But personally, to answer your question, I feel better about Godwin versus Miami, a pretty weak secondary overall. Hollywood Brown versus the Colts secondary, although the Colts have been pretty good defensively. Um, and I feel pretty good about Hunt as well, just on the season over Williams. So I think you have a good problem there, man. I think that those are a couple good flex players to have as a whole. Uh, so yeah, I hope that was helpful. I know I just kind of said you could flip a three-sided coin with those three guys, and that's not necessarily the type of answer I want to give you. But I don't feel bad about any of those guys, except for maybe Williams, right? And don't get me wrong, if you had the conviction in Williams, then I don't think it's that bad of a start. But I just don't know how high the ceiling's necessarily going to be. But now, if the Bears can get in the red zone a couple times in this game, although Justin Fields might eat into things, I do think that we could see Williams get in the red zone, of course. But yeah, isn't that his? Gosh, I got to figure out this Bears RB2 name. I looked it up earlier and I already forgot. Let's see here. Okay, it is. It's Khalil Herbert. Okay, I was right. Uh, he might eat into those carries as well. Raiders defense allowing 4.9 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns through the first 4 games. So it is a good matchup. I just don't feel crazy about it. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been there before. I might be wrong on this one. I'm completely admitting it, but I just, for whatever reason, have a bad feeling on it. Let's see. Jordy, thoughts on AJ Brown? I drafted him and Ridley. Both have let me down this season. Yeah, I mean, I still believe in AJ Brown in the long term and Calvin Ridley as well. I mean, Brown's really dealing with injuries, and the Tennessee Titans is not playing as well as expected. I mean, he's got a good matchup versus Jacksonville this week, so I think you could start him this week if he does play. But then he's got a tough matchup the following week against Kansas City, or excuse me, against Buffalo. Then week 7 he does face Kansas City, which is another good matchup, man. So uh, I do believe on him or in him on the in the long term, and same with Ridley as well. But it's a tough call. And Ridley sitting out this week, not so great. But listen, man, I think Ridley's had a good season in terms of full PPR. It's just the Falcons' offense not very good. So I like Ridley a little bit more. I think he's been more consistent, but I wouldn't give up on AJ Brown just yet. And it's really, I think it's more a problem with the Tennessee Titans than it is with AJ Brown specifically. But yeah, I like Ridley out of the two. So good question, Jordy. Mister, what's going on, man? A couple new faces out here, man. Hope you guys are doing great. And if you guys are new here, hope you guys do consider subscribing, becoming part of the Catch fam. Appreciate all of the Catch fam. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. All right, Mister, a little worried about weather for certain teams. Yeah, um, I think it's going to be a bad weekend of weather, if I'm not mistaken, for a lot of different areas, man. Uh, So yeah, I think the Bills and Kansas City games are supposed to have a pretty pretty bad forecast as well. So good point, Mister. Griffin, what's going on, man? Start Chenault, Corey, Mike, Davis, or Moss? It's a good question. I like Chenault a lot this week. Steven, my co-host, and I both really like Chenault this week. It's a very good matchup versus Tennessee. They've been so bad in the secondary, guys. But I like Corey Davis versus the Falcons as well. Mike Davis, it's a little bit of a tougher matchup. I mean, actually, the Jets have been pretty good against posting running backs, but I'm still hooked on this thesis that there's just no defense whatsoever in these London games. There's too much jet lag going on and travel and et cetera, et cetera. And Mike Davis has actually been okay this season in terms of full PPR. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been nearly as good as Patterson, but he's actually been okay. Uh, so I don't mind him. And Zach Moss is a fantastic matchup versus Kansas City Chiefs. So definitely a good selection there, Griffin. And it's a tough call, but part of me is leaning towards Chenault just based on the matchup. And part of me is leaning towards Zach Moss, as I think he has a very good shot to score this week. But then, I mean, I'm starting Corey Davis in both of my primary leagues this week. I mean, I don't have much of a choice there, but uh, it's a tough call, Griffin. I think that those are all good flex plays. I'm assuming they're flex plays. So I don't think you're going to end up with a bad play there, to be completely honest. I like all of those guys, but I think I'm leaning towards Chenault and Moss. But I think Corey Davis and Mike Davis could both have pretty good stat lines as well. So I'm sorry if that wasn't helpful, as I didn't really give you a clear answer, but I think it's a good problem to have, man. Cleo, one last question for defensive start. Who do you pick, bro? Vikings, Panthers, or Cowboys? I kind of like the Cowboys this week, and make sure you go and check out my co-host Steven drops his must start defensive, teams for the week. Um, Make sure you go and check out that video from earlier in the week. Definitely went a little bit more in depth. Uh, but yeah, as we see our co-host Steven popping in the chat right now. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it popping? Steven, what do you think about this question from Khalil? Vikings, Panthers, or Cowboys? I think I'm leaning Cowboys here. I think we like Danny Dimes, right? But the Cowboys had 28 points put up against them last week, and they still had 8 to 10 fantasy points depending on your scoring format, right? So I kind of like where they're at right now. And then looking at things outside of that, right? Uh, excuse me. Looking at the Panthers going against Philly, I think they could have a pretty good week as well. So yeah, Steven's saying Vikings first, then Cowboys and Panthers. Okay. So there you have it. Steven has spoken, our defensive master. But yeah, I mean the Vikings are playing Detroit. It's not a bad matchup whatsoever there as well. Jace, thoughts on my running backs, Kamara and Jonathan Taylor? I think they're both great. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to get better as this season progresses, like he did last year. I think Steven and I are both behind that thesis, man. And Kamara, man, you drafted him for a reason. Okay, don't give up on Kamara, guys. He's had a pretty good year overall. So yeah, Jace, I like both your running backs. I wouldn't feel worried about them whatsoever. Griffin, is AJ Brown playing? And if he is, should I start him? Uh, yeah. Well, I don't know if he's starting. Let's double check. Last I read, I think it's a game time decision. We'll find out in a second here. Let's see if I can't get this pulled up. Let's see. Was a full participant. He's entering Sunday's game without an injury designation. So yeah, I think he's good to go. I think he's starting, man. It's a very good matchup versus Jacksonville. It's the second best matchup. Or no, it's not true. Third best matchup he had all year long. So uh yeah, I think it's a good start for sure, man. I think you kind of have to start him just the way Jacksonville's been playing. And yeah, I do believe he's starting, which is good news for you, man, and a lot of other people. Blue Crew, full PPR, 12 team. I'm starting Renfro over Devonta Smith. Your thoughts? I like Renfro, man, in full PPR. I mean, I think that Smith might have another good week like we saw last week, but I think Renfro in full PPR, he's kind of like one of those Cole Beasley type players, right? He is a primary guy for the Raiders, so I think he could feel pretty good about starting Renfro to answer your question. Steven, love the Panthers defense on the season. This Panthers organization is trying to win now. When they get fully healthy, sheesh, yeah. When they get Stephon Gilmore out there, man, it's gonna be crazy. JC, I love your running backs. Got my guy JT, and can't wait for Kamara to start cooking. Yeah, I can't either, man. Let's see here. Mister, if it rains in Kansas City, start Cobb over Sanders with MVS out. I do like this Cobb. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the stream. I like this Cobb start, guys. Think this could be one of those situations where he's not getting picked up in every league this week. He might pop off again this week, and then he's going to be over a really hot waiver wire. So I don't mind Cobb either. Yeah. I really don't want it to rain. I want fireworks in KC. I do too, Steven. Need Allen Mahomes to light it up. Yeah, I agree. Jameis is trash. Did you see the 50th Deshaun rumor of him heading to the Saints? I didn't, but I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. But no, I didn't see that. I still kind of, I don't know where Deshaun Watson's going to end up or if he's going to stay a Texan. I mean, yeah, there's just so many rumors out there. The other weekend, like last weekend, right? People were talking about how he was going to the Eagles for sure, which is interesting. JT86TN, what's going on? Just lost Wilson, have Tannehill on the bench, but I'm not crazy about him. Would you stick with him or grab Darnold, Hurts, or Burrow? 6-point passing TDs. Jalen Hurts is available. If Jalen Hurts is available, I would grab him right away. That would be my answer for you, man. And if he's not, then Sam Darnold's a great start for you, man. Yeah, if Jalen Hurts is available, you should have him. That's who you should have right now. So yeah. Answer your question, man. JT86TN. Uh, Tannehill's got a good matchup this week. I do think he's probably going to have a very good stat line against Jacksonville. So I don't think you need to panic. But if Hurts is available, I would add him right away, and then I would put Darnold second, and then Burrow. I really like Sam Darnold, but if Jalen Hurts available, he should be on your roster, man. Like I would pick him up right now while he's available. Mr. Titans have 21 players on IR. Holy shit. Steven Smith is probably going to see a lot of work, but can't knock staying in the flames with Renfro. He is hot right now. Almost hotter than a kicker when hits it from 60 plus. People are flooding to Cobb. Chasing the point scares me. 2 touchdowns not repeatable. Yeah. Well, I hope I'm right on this, Steven. I hope you're wrong and I get Cobb and you don't. Steven, John, you and I talked about him in New Orleans this offseason. Also, A-Rod. Yeah, we did bring that up. Or at least you brought it up. Yeah. JT86T. And yeah, I couldn't believe he is available. That was my feeling too. All three of those guys are studs to Steven, but Hurts, Darnold, Burrow. Hurts could finish top 6 easily. Yeah. Dude, go pick up Hurts right now. I mean, he's like QB3 on the season right now. There's no reason he should be available. So I think you're going to steal. And I mean, I love Russell Wilson, but Wade's been looking a little bit of an upgrade as well. Uh, and honestly, I mean, I like Tannehill still on the season. He's got a good matchup versus Jacksonville this week. I think he's going to have a good sticky stat line. But if you don't feel crazy about him, you can replace him with Darnold, especially if Hurts is your QB1. So I think you're in a good situation there. Steven says, I love your profile pic. Dion is who I wish I always was. Yeah, I think a lot of us are on that train, man. I mean, Dion, one of the best football players of all time. A lot of our favorites, right? So we'll keep the stream going here as we picked up, man. Any new faces out here, man? Hope you guys consider subscribing tonight, becoming part of the Catch fam. But nonetheless, appreciate you guys coming through tonight. And yeah, if you guys haven't already, go and smash that like button, man. And let's get some new viewers into the stream while we keep on rolling. Zuda, what's going on? Pick 2. Michael Carter, Singletary, Sermon, or Gaskin. Personally, I would lean towards Michael Carter and Singletary. I think Carter is starting to get the uptick in carries we want to see. Singletary's on the Bills, so I'll just take that value right there just based on the team alone. Trey Sermon, I just don't feel great about this Niners backfield overall, and I've completely given up on Myles Gaskin as a whole, man. I'm just done with him. So to answer your question, man, I would roll with Michael Carter and Singletary personally, although I don't feel too great about Michael Carter as a whole. But yeah, those would be my 2 guys. Steven, I need to see it from Tanny Boy before I start him. I don't disagree with that, but I like this matchup versus the Jaguars quite a bit. Mr. I agree with you both on Cobb, but no MVS. So I guess it's either Robbie Tanyan or Cobb because since he's decent against run, yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't hate the start of Cobb. I just think while there might be another high ceiling, I think there might be a low floor involved there as well. So you just kind of have to tamper your expectations. Justin Hammonds, Galladay or James Conner? That's a good question. Galladay might end up seeing Diggs all day, which is not a good look. Although overall, Dallas' secondary hasn't played great. And I do believe in this Giants team and their ability to actually do quite well. But personally, I really like James Conner right now. Not the greatest matchup, but not the worst matchup versus the Niners. So James Conner has been on a roll. I mean, he might be a little bit touchdown dependent. And there's a lot of touchdowns to go around on this team. But I think I'm inclined to roll with James Conner. I think that's where I'm sitting right now. Steven, I'd be interested to get your input there between James Conner or Randall Cobb. James out. Trade Antonio Brown and Gibson for Mixon. Yes, would be my answer, and I think Steven would agree. Let's see. Steven, it's a tasty matchup for sure. JT86TN, me too, man. I love Dion. Name my first dog after him. I was a wide receiver and punt returner in high school, and I high stepped with hand behind the end zone into the ends head excuse me, hand behind the head into the end zone like Dion once it got flagged. Love it, man. Love to see that. That's good shit, bro. My coach is not happy. I paid for it at practice that next week. Yeah, I believe that, man. But I'm sure it was worth it in the end just to be able to tell the story. So I like that, man. That's what's up. Steven, think Cobb is def a play this week, but just can't rely on him winning your week. He's still not a guy that adds value. Fair enough. I don't disagree. But I think he could be a little sneaky right now if you're hurting at receiver. Steven or narrator, uh, thoughts on, I guess I'm the narrator. Uh, thoughts on Zeke minor injury status. I have Pollard, but I already had Daryl Henderson play. I wouldn't be worried about. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is one of these veteran running backs that you're going to see a lot, of random pop ups on the injury report. He'll be fine, man. We'll know if he's not fine, but if it's just a questionable status, I would not worry about it. A lot of these veteran backs are going to take uh, breaks at points. So I think you're going to be completely fine to start Ezekiel Elliott, and I think it's probably good that you did start Henderson as well. So yeah, man, I got no problem whatsoever with you starting Ezekiel Elliott, and I would not worry about the injury designation at all. I can't play Monty; he's hurt. Yeah, I've got Montgomery as well, so I feel your pain there, brother. Yeah, it's no good. Definitely no good. But I think he'll be okay with starting Zeke, man. All right, let's see here. All right, guys, go ahead and start getting your final fantasy Q&A. I mean, we were supposed to stop at 11:30, and we're still rolling, so we'll go till midnight here, and go ahead and get your final fantasy Q&A as we start to wind down over the next 15 minutes. Do have to work tomorrow, so I apologize, guys, but make sure you do stream, or excuse me, make sure you do tune in for tomorrow night's Saturday night late stream, man. Uh, Always a blast. Always have a good time on Saturday nights, man. Here from like 9:30 or 10 all the way to like 2 or 3 in the morning. So make sure you guys tune in, man. We'll be doing fantasy Q&A. Hopefully, be playing Madden. The streaming software to get Madden up on the screen has been working this week, so I got to do some troubleshooting if I have time tomorrow. But make sure you guys do tune in for tomorrow night's stream, as we always have a good time overall on Saturday nights. So yeah, make sure you guys are here tomorrow as well. But appreciate all you guys coming out tonight as well. And yeah, we'll still go ahead. We got about 10 to 15 minutes left on the night. Let's see, Mister, you're welcome, brother. No problem there. Steven says to monitor it closely. Probably not a bad idea. James Zhao, trade Gibson for Montgomery. I have Williams, and Gibby is on my bench. I think Gibson's going to be a bad play this week, although, of course, you can't play Montgomery this week, but Gibson a little banged up too. He's facing the Saints, so be a little hesitant there. Uh, his schedule looks great after he gets back. Oh, so you're trading Gibson and getting Montgomery. Okay, okay, I see now. Gibson's on your bench. Yeah, yeah. I don't mind that trade. I'm a huge fan of David Montgomery when healthy. So I don't think it's a bad trade, and I think Gibson's banged up as well. So yeah, James, I think it's a good trade, and it's good that you're looking ahead, seeing the schedule looks great. So yeah, I don't mind that trade at all. Steven, if you see this injury linger around, perhaps try and check the trade market on Zeke. I'm sure people would give up a fortune for him. Yeah, yeah. But I still believe in Zeke on the season. I do. But yeah, if it's that bad. But I just think with a lot of these veteran running backs and receivers, you're going to see different injuries, pop up at random times. So uh, it's tough to say, man. Steven says, despite Gibson being banged up, I'm nervous of Montgomery injuries. Yeah, I'm nervous too, but I still have faith in him. So, and I think that I have to have faith in him. So maybe I'm biased there, but that's where I'm at nonetheless. So yeah, I don't think I could do anything but believe in Montgomery, right? Being that he's like the guy that I put so much faith in the offseason, preseason. Steven hates knee injuries for running backs. I do too, but I've had too many injuries to to not believe in these guys. Mister, last question. I stashed Michael Thomas from draft. Should I trade him or hold him for another stud receiver? I have Lamb, Woods, Cobb, and Sanders, but I have Montgomery, so maybe grab a running back for him. I don't know. Uh if he can trade him and make him part of a package deal, then I think that's completely fine. I think you'll probably get better better value for him right now as opposed to before he actually starts playing. I don't think either Steve and I are very high on Michael Thomas. I think if anything, we're both relatively concerned about him. So yeah, I think if you're hurting at running back, it's okay to make him someone who's not a priority on your bench. To answer your question, I don't have any problem with that. And you've got C.D. Lamb, Robert Woods, Cobb, and Sanders. I think all four of those receivers will probably be better on the season than Michael Thomas. Might get this one wrong, but I just don't feel great about Michael Thomas as a whole. Steven, by the way, guys, sorry I was not in chat. Miss you all, love you all, and only 2 days away from the best day of the week. Yeah, absolutely, man. Uh, dude, this season is flying by. Like week 5 is already freaking here. It's crazy, man. Uh, absolutely crazy that we're already past a month of football. Uh, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, how many games do we have now? 17. Jeez. So, wow. Are we? We're almost like uh, third of the way through. It's crazy. So, but yeah, nonetheless, another Sunday right around the corner. I need some dubs this week, guys. I mean, I got one dub last week, but mine and Stevens League, I'm 1-3. This is going to be a very tough matchup for me to win. I'm facing a pretty good team, so I need some dubs this week. And I've got a shot in my 20-man league, but gosh, I've just had the injury bug all season long. Steven says John Super Bowl prediction now. I'm not making that prediction right now. I'm not. Uh, we'll do that down the stretch for sure, though. Dylan Sheps, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you, dog. Hope you're having a great night and hope you had a good week, man. Is Latavius Murray worth grabbing off the waivers? I'm stacked in running back, but hate to see somebody else get him for free. LMAO. I don't think he's not worth grabbing, but if you're stacked, man, I don't know that you need to. If you've got the roster room, then why not? But I think that his ceiling's pretty low, man, just based on Lamar Jackson being the quarterback and based on a couple other RBs being in that room. I mean, I do think at the moment he's the lead guy, but we're kind of seeing him performing between like 8 and 12 points. I don't think the ceiling's that high. He might have a week or two where he gets in the end zone twice, right? But I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem with you taking another running back. You know, not making another running back not available to other squads. So I don't hate it, but I just don't know how high the ceiling is, and if you might be able to get some other plays that are a little bit better for you if you're stacked at running back. But I'm with you, man. I have that same feeling sometimes of not wanting other teams to get good players for free and everything. So I hear you there. Mister, thank you. I also maybe can throw Trey Lance and trade. I drafted him, but I got Kyler at quarterback. Maybe Thomas and Lance for stud running back. I like that idea. I like that quite a bit. I think you should try it. You got Kyler, man. You're going to start Kyler every game except for his bye week, which you can pick up Taylor Heineke or whoever, right? So, yeah, I think you should try it. Why not go out and get a stud running back at a team who's hurting at the quarterback position, and then throw Michael Thomas in there too. Dylan Sheps, what's up, bro? Hope you're doing great, man. Good to have you here tonight, man. Make sure you hop in to the Saturday night late stream tomorrow as well, man. We'll be cooling for quite some time tomorrow. Steven says Murray is a solid pickup. Yeah, I don't disagree. Probably better pickup than my pickup of Alex Collins, right? So I just don't think that the ceiling is crazy high. Uh, but doesn't mean that it's not a bad ceiling overall. So yeah. Oh no, man, we just got a comment on uh, a video from is this yesterday? Yeah, it looks like yesterday, and a guy's asking where everyone is at. Oh no, this was 2 days ago. I feel bad. Hopefully he sees the stream for tonight and just hops on there. But nonetheless, feel bad. Okay. Mr. Heineke is a sneaky point scorer. Maybe I'll grab him too. Yeah, he's a great uh quarter QB number two to have right now, man. I mean, if you have an absolute stud and you just need someone to stream, I like Heineke quite a bit, man. Uh yeah, I think Heineke's probably kind of the guy who's getting left out overall. But in terms of these kind of sleeper streamer quarterbacks, right? Danny Jones, Sam Darnold, and then really, I've been talking about Taylor Heineke a bit, but he kind of seems to be that guy who's still floating around on the waivers, right? And he's played very well through the first 4 games of the season. So, geez, I still can't believe we're already in week 5. I mean, I feel like we just drafted like last week for fantasy, and season's been going. It's going quick, man. Super Bowl is going to be here before you know it. Steven already wants me to make a Super Bowl prediction, but man, next time we have Steven on the stream, maybe we'll go through our potential Super Bowl streams, our Super Bowl picks, excuse me, because it's a tough call to make at this point in the season, man. So we'll see. All right, guys, go ahead and get your final fantasy Q&A out if you guys have any, as we'll start to wind down by midnight for the night. Do you have to get some sleep overall here? Do you have to work tomorrow? But definitely get out any final fantasy Q&A for the night. All right. Yeah, I wonder if man, I had the option to trade for Heineke and not Trevor Lawrence, and I've gone back and forth on that a little bit. If maybe I made the wrong call by getting Trevor Lawrence. It also stems from being a Washington fan and just not having any faith in the team. Dylan Sheps, should I drop one of these guys for Latavius? McKissick, Gainwell, or Pollard? I haven't felt great about the Pollard situation, but with this injury popping up, questionable status popping up for Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's probably worth hanging on to at the moment. Uh, honestly, man, I don't know if I'd drop any of those guys for Latavius Murray. I feel like those 3 guys have higher ceilings on a weekly basis than Latavius Murray does. Uh, full PPR, okay. I mean, especially with that being said, I think McKissick and Gainwell and Pollard are more valuable from a PPR standpoint than Latavius Murray is. So it's a tough call, but I think that those 3 guys are going to show you more value than Latavius Murray is, especially it being full PPR. I mean, he's really not showing any PPR value. He's really just showing that red zone end zone value, right? So yeah, to answer your question, I wouldn't make a move here, to be completely honest. Chosen Rose, what's going on, man? It's good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing great tonight. You think starting Damian Harris over Gibson is good? I have Patterson in the flex. I also have Corey Davis and Emmanuel Sanders as well. Yeah, Damon Harris has got a fantastic matchup. I was just going over a question in my head one last time. Yeah, he's facing Houston, man. Gibson has a bad matchup versus the Saints, and he's banged up. So I would start Harris over Gibson. I would keep Patterson in the flex, as I don't think the Jets defense is going to show up at all. And I don't mind Corey Davis, as I also don't think Atlanta's defense is going to show up at all. Uh, but I don't think that Emmanuel. I mean, the only thing keeping me back from Emmanuel Sanders is might be some weather involved in this game that's not beneficial to the game overall. But yeah, I think your lineup's fine the way it is, man. If you put Damian in, sure you could put Sanders in, but just know that there's going to be some weather involved in this game. But he's got a beautiful matchup against that Kansas City secondary. So yeah, I don't think you're doing anything wrong there. Kyle Ellis, what is going on, brother? Good to see you here. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight, man. Hope you had a good week. Trade Chase for Lamb, PPR. I view both of those guys in pretty similar fashion. Both true wide receiver ones on their respective teams. Both have a lot of potential targets being taken away from other receivers. So I don't necessarily think it's necessary. I just used necessary twice in that sentence, but nonetheless, man, um, I don't know if it's necessary. But sorry, I just said that again. Listen, I would look at which team you have more conviction in from an offensive standpoint, and then I would just roll with either team, whether it's the Bengals or the Cowboys. But I view those guys in pretty similar fashion, to be honest with you. Mister, I hear you. I'm a Saints fan. I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Yeah, I feel that, man. Khalil, get Coronas ready for weekend need'em. Thanks for the Q&A. Big help. Absolutely, man. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope all you guys come out to the late night stream tomorrow. And this feels like a good point to go ahead and wind down the stream for the night. Had a blast tonight. Good turnout, man. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all of the new faces out here tonight. Appreciate the catch fam. As always, man, this community is just growing and growing day by day, man. It is great to see. Steven and I are super stoked for the future of the channel, man. Just growing day by day. So I truly, truly appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all of the support. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. Either going between sometime between 9:30 and 10. Uh so yeah, man. Uh appreciate all you guys. Dylan, I'm late to the party. Don't worry, man. We'll be on for quite some time tomorrow. I just have to work in the morning, so I do apologize, guys. But I do have to get some sleep before I get up tomorrow. But had a blast tonight, man. Love doing these streams for you guys. Love doing the fantasy Q&A. We will be doing it. If you guys are worried about missing any of the streams, make sure you hit that notification bell. You also see any of our pre-recorded videos, of course, with that. And we'll keep pumping out the content, man. We'll keep moving along for the catch fam, man. It's been another good week, and I'm happy to cap it off with tomorrow's late night stream and then the pregame stream on Sunday as well. And we'll see. We might get a a Sunday night reaction stream. We may not. Just depends on how Sunday goes, man. So overall, man, I thank you guys as always for watching and or listening. Shout out to the catch fam, man. And I got nothing else to say, but remember, saw it here on the catch, and peace.